Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's Thursday morning, and the Raptors won their ninth straight last night against the Indiana Pacers, going undefeated in the in-season tournament so far in the group play, 4-0, and we just had a fantastic finish to the game last night with Brandon Ingram, and Scotty grabbing him and saying, "He's him, he is him." You saw that at the end of the game. Scotty's so enthusiastic and excited about Brandon. Well, I know that Scotty gets excited about this kind of stuff because when he used to play 2K in the summer of 2022, he likes having good teammates. He likes dependable teammates. He likes people that make shots where he can go greenies and they make a shot. You know, that coffee machine's loud, eh? Anyway, Brandon came through in the clutch at the end of the game last night and was fantastic. We went to the game. Adriana and I went to the game last night. We saw Monique. You can see the picture. And lots of stories about last night. And also, we'll do the stars of the game and all the regular stuff we do on this channel as far as things. So, yeah, good morning, everybody. Let's go Raptors. That's 9 in a row, just like number 9, RJ Barrett. That's right. All right, let me go and read the comments from the stream. Real quick, Shaq Lindsay came in first and he said, "I don't think BI played a good game. He's being sarcastic. Let's just put it that way first. I think he should have passed the ball to Scotty, but instead BI played ISO ball again and won the game." Shaking my head. Is that what? All right, I don't even want to talk about that guy today. We talked about him yesterday. There's no point in talking about him, but that does sound like a take that could be taken by a not a very astute person that's kind of silly and stupid. Once again, if anybody has any problem with what Brandon Ingram's doing for the Toronto Raptors right now, they're a Raptor hater, because what he's doing for the Raptors right now is a very good thing, and it's making us powerful, and it's making us dangerous, and it's making us a real championship threat. So somebody could tell you who they are and how they feel about the Raptors winning just by talking to you about, well, I hate Brandon. He's a ball hog, and he's playing too much. That's stupid. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Brandon's playing within the team concept. He's playing as a good teammate. And this is exactly what Darko, Scotty, RJ, Jacoby, Grady, Jamal, Wayne Embry, Bobby Webster, Dr. Alex McKechnie on his birthday, Matt Devlin, Jack Armstrong. This is what they all want to see, including me, Alvin Williams. We all want to see this. Why do some people have criticisms? Why do some people have these stupid ass takes? Because they don't want to see the Raptors be successful. That's why. That's why. That's it right there. Because in some ways, the Raptors being successful is taken away from what they actually do want on the down low. So I just keep saying that. If anybody's criticizing Brandon Ingram, if anybody's criticizing Brandon Ingram being on this team, if anybody's saying the Raptors are too talented, well, they're telling you exactly who they are. And anyway, that's how I react to Shaq Lindsay's comment right there. All right, Trevor J., words of wisdom. Everything happens when it needs to happen. Everyone is always where they need to be. You will never miss out on what is meant for you, even if it has come to you in a roundabout way. I like that. I like that. One of the things that I had to learn young in life was that our life path is what it's meant to be. And, you know, you could get a lot of second guess in your life and say, wow, I could have been this. I could have done that if I had just done this. And you got regrets. But the thing to do is to trust in your path, as far as like, this is what the creator's decided for me, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And it takes a lot of pressure off yourself, because look, you can't woulda, coulda, shoulda, all this kind of stuff throughout your life. You're going to tear yourself up emotionally, because there's just the way it is and the path laid out for you, and it's exactly how it was supposed to be. So don't fall in this trap with your head where you have regrets and you think this and this and this. Everything happens the way it's supposed to, like Trevor's saying, and it may happen in a roundabout way. Thank you for your words of wisdom, Trevor J. I appreciate you every single day. Every single day. That's right. What was that noise? This team is getting so good to win in different ways. Now they're 4-0 in NBA Cup and have home court advantage. Yeah, this is important. And, you know, all right, let's talk about the refs last night, because this is the thing. Now we're going to have a destiny date on December the 9th or 10th for the knockout round of the in-season tournament. And we're going to have to play. They have it kind of figured out. We're either going to play the winner of Group B in the East, or we're going to play the wild card. Now, either way, we're going to play at home for this game, and it's going to be great to have home court advantage. Home court advantage is coming through for the Raptors in recent games. We have bring them very good energy in some of these games recently, and they've absolutely been helping the Raptors win some of these close games. So when we play this in-season tournament knockout game, we're going to need the people at Scotiabank. I'm, in fact, thinking about maybe I need to go to this game. I don't know. It's going to be December 9th or 10th. And, it's going to be very important. In fact, I would make the argument that since it's a single elimination, one winner takes all kind of game, it may be even more important in some ways than just a single playoff game. Now, it depends on which level. So this is a big game. In some ways, I worry about this game because the NBA may want to script right, and they may want to write us out of the script. So we're just going to have to take care of business like we have. Now, last night, it was 8-on-5 once again, and Ref Report is undefeated. We saw Courtney Kirkland and Murat Kugat playing the role that they play and what we expected from them. Travel calls and offensive fouls and fouls this way and that way. In fact, after the game, I rendezvoused with Mr. Ingram once again. I saw him at the game, and I called him over at the end of the game, and he came over and we were talking about it. He said, man, the refs are so bad last night. Brandon's dad himself told me that the refs were so bad last night. And I told him, I knew this going in the game because we do the ref report on my show, and I know the percentages of what the refs are with the Raptors and their win. And Murat Kugat is one of the worst refs in this league for the Toronto Raptors. And Brandon's dad went, really? That's interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. So it's like, yeah, I was telling him about the ref stuff. And yeah, he said it himself that the refs were 8-on-5 last night and just not right. Sheree was okay. And I was right. Sheree was okay. In fact, there was one play early in the game where Murat got the possession arrow absolutely wrong, pointed it for Indiana, and Sheree came over and overruled him and said, no, it's this way, Kugat, with your bullshit. Yeah, man, those refs were tough. And yeah, Courtney Kirkland, he's definitely a cyborg with no emotions. And he's already a cyborg among us. That man is a weird guy as far as his very plain delivery and emotionless state. He's just really weird, man. Let me just put it that way. But yeah, the ref report was pretty on. And well, what did I say yesterday too? This game's going to be tough. This game's going to be close. And the refs are going to mess with us. And well, that's all came true last night. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here. Trevor J saying Ingram and Scotty 1-2 punch players, defense and offense in the clutch. We're sending a statement. We are not going to give you up. Okay, Rick Astley. You have to beat us if you want it. The Raptors have won a lot of games recently, and they're winning them in different ways. Every single win we've had in this 9 games win streak is not exactly the same in a lot of ways. Some of these wins have been very different. One of the cool things was before the game last night at Scotiabank Arena, they flashed stats up on the Jumbotron. And one of the stats that they flashed before the game last night that really stuck out to me was which teams in the league have more plus 10 plus wins, 10 plus point wins, like scoring 10 or more to beat a team. And the number one team in the league for most games beating an opponent by 10 or more points is Oklahoma City. But who's second? Us. And Oklahoma City has I don't know how many games, 12 or something like that. But we have 10. So it's pretty cool that some of our stats are mirroring the Thunder, the most excellent team in the league and the champions, and the team that's on top in the West. Is that the Raptors in the NBA are the team with the second most wins by 10 or more this season. And Oklahoma City is the only team that has more like that. They can keep saying that we have a weak schedule and playing weak teams. But like I said, a lot of these other teams that have come out the gates, like Detroit, have had some easier stuff on their schedule also. So it's not totally fair to just point it out for the Raptors. Of course, our detractors will want to use any damn excuse they can. And for the whole rest of the season, I'll bet that they'll be slighting us in weird, shady ways all throughout. Like NBA.com last night for our game highlights posted it as Pistons versus Pacers. What is that? Seriously, these guys are doing this on purpose, just so y'all know. They're doing this stuff on purpose because they really don't want the Raptors to look good or have success. They really, really don't. And if they do, they're going to shade us by misrepresenting us, by showing us as the Pistons. Like, what is this? NBA.com. You're fired. You're fired. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Let's see. James is here. Good morning to James. Ingram smooth with the game winner to no rush. Yeah, in some ways, it's a confidence that we have again that we haven't had since Kawhi Leonard. And I love that. I mean, I told that to Mr. Ingram again last night. It's like we have 3 players in this history of our franchise that are confident, clutch players that we can rely on to carry us home in close games, and we should feel very confident. Vince Carter was the first one in the early 2000s, and Kawhi Leonard was for 1 year on the Raptors. He was like that. Well, Brandon's like that this year, and as I said to Mr. Ingram last night, I hope that Brandon stays in a Raptors jersey for many, many years. And this is what he told me. He said, Brandon's never wanted to be traded. Brandon enjoys being where he is. He's never asked anyone to trade him. When LA traded him, he didn't ask for that. Even when New Orleans traded him this year, he didn't actually ask for that. So if he's being treated well and he's fine, he has no problem staying somewhere as long as he wants to, because it's loyalty. So in some ways, the way that the Ingram family looks at things is much different than the Leonard family. And that's fantastic. And that bodes well for, many years of Brandon Ingram in a Raptors red jersey, because that's what we want, right, Raptors fans? We want to have a player of his caliber in a certain way, like, around, because like Darko said in his post-game interview, he's a luxury to have on our team, right? And we want him happy, and we want him here long term, because in some ways, Raptors fans feel like we got ripped off with Kawhi Leonard. We're only getting him for 1 year, right? So, yeah, that would be great. Like I say, Scotty, Brandon, RJ, Emmanuel, go get the second Toronto Raptors championship and, keep at it. You can get one, and hopefully we can keep the band together and Bobby can manage this team right, and we can stake around and be a perennial contender for NBA championships coming up. Because with Brandon Ingram healthy, Brandon Ingram on your team, you've got a chance to win anytime you take the court. That's the damn truth right there. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's keep going in here. Let's see what else. We got Nako the Nacho in the chat. Let's see what Nako's saying. I love Pascal. I also don't think he would have hit that shot that BI did. Now, we don't listen. And this was, I gave a stink eye to one of the guys sitting near me in the crowd, because he was being dissing to Siakam. He's being disrespectful. And I looked at him and I was like, look, I know he's on the other team and we're playing against him, but we need to respect our legends still, because I'm sick of this shit. So don't, in some ways you're right, Gerald, but in some ways, does this really need to be pointed out? Because as much as I just made a list of 3 Raptors that you can rely on in clutch situations, I did not include Pascal, did I? No, I didn't. And that's too bad. Siakam had an interesting night last night. He got in foul trouble. And they were really picking on him in some ways. Look, he got blocked by one of his best friends at the end of the game when he was trying to make the shot. And then he got cooked by our clutch player at the end of the game also. And Brandon was so cutthroat in the press conference. He said, I knew he had foul trouble, so he was at my mercy. That's what he said about Siakam. He said, I knew he was in foul trouble. He was at my mercy. So he dissected that and knew that. And, the tough thing is Rick Carlisle was in a bad spot, because Siakam is his most important player. He's offensively in some ways his most important player, and he's also defensively his most important player in some ways. So he can't afford to have him in foul trouble, because in some ways without Siakam out there, his defense isn't as good as it could be. So this is Jack said it in the highlights. I saw it, even though I went to the game. I didn't hear the announcers during the game. Jack said it's really gutsy of Carlisle to keep Siakam out there in the foul trouble that he's in like that. But he has to. If they are going to have any chance to beat the Raptors, Siakam has to be on the court, and he has to play where he's not fouling anybody. Like, Nick had to do this with him too in the past. There's a certain level. I don't know. Siakam in some ways can be trusted not to foul. He can really kind of play a certain way and not foul, because I've seen Nick do the same thing that Rick Carlisle did last night in the past on the Raptors with Siakam. It's just like, what does Rick Carlisle do? You need Siakam on the court. He's in foul trouble. You got to let it ride and just hope that he doesn't get those fouls. But yeah, Brandon, he's cutthroat. He said, yeah, I knew he was at my mercy. I love that. I love that. Even though it's Siakam. And listen, man, he got a good cheer before the game. We really cheered Siakam great in the starting lineups. We even cheered Mathurin and Nebhard very well, too. So the two Canadian guys starting with Siakam got ovations from the Scotiabank crowd before the game also. So, yeah, it's pretty good. No disrespect in Siakam. Even if he's on the other team now, we love our Siakam. And this is another thing. I can't stand Raptors fans that diss our former legends like DeMar DeRozan and Pascal Siakam. In some ways, I don't see you as a real Raptors fan if you have a bad opinion of either of those two people I just named. Okay? Because in some ways, there's no reason to diss Siakam. Siakam's an accomplished man who's done very well. And he just happens to be on a very bad team right now that's losing a lot. And it's not his damn fault. They're losing despite him. Trust me, despite him. Yeah, I don't know if Siakam would make a shot like that. He did have the opportunity for a shot like that last night, Gerald, and he got blocked by his friend Pirtle. That's what happened. That's right. Nako's saying this. Brandon, Scotty, Jacoby were our best. Jacoby's really starting to pop. Now, the thing with Jacoby that's very interesting because he was absolutely a spark last night. He was absolutely a spark offensively and defensively and just for hustle. And he got the chain last night. And, yeah, Jacoby was a difference maker. And I appreciate him for that. Now, the baseline of Jacoby playing very hard and hustling around and playing good defense is there. And, well, then there's the night that he's having shots go into. Well, then he's really more well-rounded and he's doing very well. But right now, the thing with Walter is we're getting a confidence building up. And that's fantastic. There's a type of level that Jacoby Walter could get to in the next couple of years that is very enticing and interesting. You know, I see parallels to him with DeMar DeRozan in some ways. I see parallels to him with, somebody who just kind of has the first couple of years, our development, but then in their fourth year or third year, they just explode. And all of a sudden, they're kind of like a very steady, consistent offensive contributor. The guy that I wanted Jacoby to play like this year coming off the bench, we played last night. And that's Benedict. I've always said, like in the last 6 months, that if Jacoby Walter can be a points per minute scorer off the bench, like Mathurin is for the Pacers, that's a very valuable role for him on this team. And, there's a lot of parallels in some ways to both those guys. But, yeah, Jacoby was fantastic. He's absolutely my number one star of the game. Oh, no, wait. Brandon's my number one star of the game. Sorry. I have to give credit to Brandon for the shot. So we'll start with Brandon. And, let's go over his stat line real quick. Let's see. Brandon Ingram, 38 minutes, 26 points, 11 of 23 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 3 turnovers and 2 steals and a block, a plus 12. Of course, the most important thing Brandon did last night was hit that clutch shot. But he didn't just hit one shot. There was like a lot of shots in the last 5-6 minutes of the game that Brandon was shooting to keep up. Because it was a weird flow to the game. The Pacers were beating us early. They came out hungry and they smacked us in the face. And they were really riding right next to us the whole game. There was a period where we were up by 10 or so, and there was a period where they were up by 10 or so. But it kind of went back and forth. And we were up ahead in the third for a while, but then they came back. And, everybody's a little tense and a little stressed out because it's so close at the end of the game. But in some ways, once again, we've got a very high card in Brandon Ingram to play in the game and kind of win the game. So, yeah, I love it. So, Brandon, good job hitting the clutch shots. And it was awesome that your girlfriend saw it all and she's getting more shine. And, man, her hair looks cool, man. I love her hair, Brandon. Wow, it's really cool. All right, let's do Jacoby now. He is my second star. He did get the chain last night, guys. And I've kind of been trying to fill in who got the chain on different games on the star sheet I have. I'm just missing one game that I don't know who got the chain, and that was the Memphis game. But I've got everybody else marked for who got the chain. Now, Jacoby deserved the chain for sure. He did not start in this game. They started Colin, which I kind of questioned. I think that they maybe should have just started Jacoby still. Because I don't think Colin Murray-Boyles was the right start. He didn't have a very good game last night. He got in foul trouble and kind of I don't know if it was foul trouble. Yeah, he did. He got 2 fouls very early, and that was really kind of it for the rest of the game. 32 minutes for Jacoby, 13 points on 5 of 10 shooting. See, he didn't score a super whole lot, but it was a certain kind of defense and just active and getting in there and mixing up for rebounds and just making winning plays happen. That's a big part of what Walter did last night. 5 of 10 from regular and then 3 of 5 from three. And I love this. Like, if we can get Jacoby Walter to make at least 3 or more free 3-pointers a game, we would be in good shape. Like, that's a good indicator of the Raptors doing well. And the other thing is the Raptors did not shoot well from three last night. They only made 5 threes, and 3 of them were for Jacoby. And that's pretty special. We needed those threes. 4 rebounds for Jacob, 1 assist and 2 steals, no turnovers, a plus 21, the highest plus minus on the team. So a huge, huge part in what happened that was successful out on the court. So thank you, Jacoby Walter. Thank you for being an active go-getter, and thank you for hitting your threes right now. That's been a big, big part of it right there. It's been a big, big part of it. My next star of the game is Scotty Barnes. Scotty was solid. Scotty is the thing that I really loved about Scott last night was his 14 for 14 at the free throw line. He got to the line a lot last night. It was weird. Before the game, I saw Scotty talking to Kugat for like 5 minutes. And I guess Murat was smiling and laughing with Scott, and Scott was trying to be charming. And it seemed like they were cool. So 14 free throw attempts for Scotty in the game. Okay. That's what I'm saying, Scott. If you go talk to the refs and maybe get to know them before the game and kind of like butter them up a little bit, kiss their ass. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll get more respect. I'm telling you, it will work better than yelling at them in the middle of the game. 24 points in 36 minutes for Scott, 5 of 12 from the field. He just didn't shoot great. 10 rebounds also, so a double-double with 4 assists, 4 turnovers, and a block, a +1 for Scotty Barnes. And look, anybody who's questioning whether Scotty has a problem with Brandon taking over and winning the games, go look at his reaction when Brandon did that. That tells you everything you need to know about whether Scott is upset about Brandon's role on this team or not. Go look at how he acted. In fact, I've seen Scott act like that in middle school. When a teammate of his hit a game winner, he just jumped around like a little kid Scotty, and pointing at him. He is him. He is him. That's what he was saying, right? When Scotty was grabbing him, he's like that, is what he's saying. He's like that. He's like that. And he's pointing at Brandon. I don't think Scotty has a problem with Brandon's role on this team and the things he's doing. So anybody who's starting those kind of narratives, know that they're full of shit. How about that? Know that they're very much full of shit. Scotty has no problem with what he's doing. Jakob Poeltl is my 4th star of the game. Yak was underrated in this game. In some ways, we absolutely needed his presence. It was the biggest guy on the court. And in some ways, he was a good foil for stopping Siakam. Siakam did not have a good game last night. None of the Pacers scored 20 points. And a lot of that is, Poeltl and Barnes and people like that running around. But Jakob, 32 minutes, 8 points, 4 of 6 from the field with 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal and a block, a +12. He was a factor. I think that Yak really enjoys playing on this team right now. I think he enjoyed beating Siakam last night too. And I think he really enjoyed blocking him right at the end of the game too. But yeah, Yak's fun. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, Yak. I love your write-ups after the game. They're so astute, and they're just right on point with what has happened with the game. And man, just keep going, guys. Let's get 10 against Charlotte on Saturday night. And yeah, we'll be having a 10-game win streak going to Madison Square Garden on Sunday to face the Knicks. That's what I'm all about. I want to see that. And, well, I want an 11-game win streak too. All right, Emmanuel Quickley is my last star of the game today. Emmanuel wasn't the most cleanest stat line, but once again, like Manny said this week, you don't have to shoot well to do well. And in this game, none of the Raptors really shot that great. It was a bad shooting game. In fact, we didn't score 100 points. We scored 97 points, and we still figured out a way to win a game that in some ways, was an ugly game. But you got to find different ways to win. And that's what we did. 35 minutes for Emmanuel, 15 points on 6 of 19 shooting, 1 of 7 from 3, 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Those are very bad averages right across. But Manny stat stuff with 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, and 2 steals. and he was a +7 overall. Yeah, he's just been a great leader. He's an energy setter, and he's somebody that is absolutely a huge asset for the Toronto Raptors. Okay, so let's not get this twisted. All right, so there's my 5 stars of the game. We'll do honorable mention and the rest of the guys on the team in just a little bit. I want to get further into the comments real quick. G saying this: some outside fans are asking to ban Glorilla from the arena before they win it all. That's hilarious. So they're joking around. They don't really have a problem with her. They're just saying her presence and being around this team is making us win a lot. Okay, that's fine. You guys go ahead and suggest it. But we just did a poll yesterday on this channel. Should we replace the global ambassador with the Glorilla ambassador for the Toronto Raptors? Sorry, Aubrey. You said that shit about DeMar last year. And, well, Glorilla is showing love, pure love for the Toronto Raptors and Brandon Ingram. So I'm sorry. She's a better ambassador for the Raptors at this point from the musical genre. So I love our new Glorilla ambassador. And anybody who has any problem with this, well, you need to come speak to Mr. Ingram, because he's going to be telling you no. Because I'm sitting right next to this young lady, and you will not be talking to her or telling her she can't come to the game, because she's coming to see her man play. And you ain't got nothing to do with that. None of y'all outside fans from other fan nations, you ain't got nothing to do with Glorilla. The Glorilla effect is real, is what we're finding out real quick. That's right. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Smooth saying this: Dylan Cease to the Blue Jays. I don't know this, and Reggie, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know who this name is. I'm not Blue Jays freak. We did Blue Jays this year because they went to the World Series. But I'm not going to do day-to-day transactions on the Blue Jays. I apologize, Reggie. I love you. I know you love the Blue Jays, but I have no expertise on this. I don't know this man. I don't know his name. And I don't know whether this contract is worth the money or anything. So I cannot opine on this. I apologize. I hope that there's an equivalent of me on YouTube somewhere for Blue Jays news. Blue Jays freak is out there. Please make a channel, and Reggie can talk about this. I apologize, man. Yeah, I know FA is free agent, but yeah, I don't know this guy is. Dylan Cease? Dylan Cease, I apologize. That seems like a lot of money. It seems like a lot of money. All right, let's close this one since we got to the end of the chat there. And yeah, let me go ahead and see what y'all are saying here. Nako saying BI, Scotty, Jacoby. Oh, we're the best. Jacoby's nice. Yeah. Nako saying, what an aesthetic hooper Brandon is. Road to 16. Road to 16? What do you mean? Oh, I don't understand that. Oh, you mean to the playoffs? Is that what that is? Road to 16. That's interesting. An aesthetic hooper. Okay, what aesthetic it is smooth, very measured, very confident, very, Brandon shoots shots and he doesn't make them. They don't look bad. And you're like, okay, he just didn't make that one. There was one shot he made last night that he was moving, and it was not a set shot, and it was kind of a circus shot, and he made it. And the whole crowd went crazy. They're like, whoa, he made that. It was he was chased off his spot by the defender, and he still managed to kind of throw it up, and it went in. It was a beautiful, beautiful shot. Now, there's a lot of skill. There's a lot of time and effort put into Brandon's game to be who he is at this point in his career. And, well, listen, he's an all-star. And people around this league are saying it right now already, that Brandon Ingram is an all-star. And I think that they're right. And I think Scotty is too. So I think we really are on a path to get 2 all-stars this year at least. At least. I'd love RJ to get there. But if RJ's hurt for a little while, we may not see RJ get the favor for that. Kaloy is here. Good morning to Kaloy. Morning to Santino. Let's see. Morning, Lex and everyone. 9 straight wins. I remember how we all held strong last season. And look at the team now. Yeah. I mean, we talked about the tunnel we're in, and, well, we got to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I knew when we made the transaction for Brandon that was a big, huge deal. Everybody was kind of like not wanting to see it correctly. Some people didn't want to believe he could get healthy and be on our team and be a contributor in that way. That's foolish. We have Dr. Alex. Happy birthday, Dr. Alex. It was good to see you at the game last night, talking to Bobby Webster before the game at courtside. I wanted to yell out, happy birthday, Dr. Alex. Happy birthday. But he was really happy. And Matt Devlin loves palling around with Dr. Alex. He's over there massaging his shoulders and saying, oh, Dr. Alex, you're so the best. Oh, Matt Devlin, you wily rascal. And at the end of the game, I saw Larry Tannenbaum leaving the court with his wife. And I yelled out real loud, we love you, Larry. And he looked up at me and he smiled. He's like, yeah. It's so awesome. All right, let me keep going here. All right, let's see. Superfan Mo saying, "Good morning, Raptor Free Crew." 2 words, Brandon Ingram, amazing finish, but wow. Okay, that may be a couple more words. I can say, but wow, or whatever. But great to see Mo at the game last night. Always love seeing my great friend Monique Lawrence at the basketball game, and we're standing there talking to her, and over next to us is Paul Jones and Samson Falk, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of Raptors people all around the arena last night, obviously. And I even got to see Alessandro again last night. It was cool. He was taking more pictures. And man, I'm really impressed with the work he's doing. In fact, he's doing little sets of pictures for each of the Raptors. Like he did Jamal Shed and Oshai Abaji. And I saw him before the game talking to Grady's mom. And he was actually organizing. He's going to take pictures of Grady for the game too. And he does little, if you're not following Alessandro yet, go ahead. We had him on Instagram yesterday. He's got fantastic pictures he's taken of the team. And yeah, he was telling me he's going to go to Detroit soon and do some work with the Pistons team too, because he has a friend around that team too. But yeah, then he'll head back to Italy. But all the best to Alessandro and blessings to him. Good friend of Sandro Mamukelashvili. Yeah, just awesome to catch up with him again last night and talk some more with him too. All right, let's keep going. But Brent, of course, always good to see Superfan Mo. And we both got our yearbooks last night. That's right. The Raptors 2025-2026 yearbook is on sale now. They had it at the arena for $12. And these things are beautiful. They've got like crazy pictures in them, or they're just like this. Like, let's see the guy with the chain last night. Look at that, Jacoby Walter Page. This is the kind of yearbook, like when you're in middle school or high school, you get all your friends to sign. So that's the goal, is can you get all the Raptors to sign your yearbook before the end of the year? That's a tough task. You probably got to try and get them all at once if you can. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam. Happy Thursday. What a game yesterday. I'm so happy, Lex. Adriana and Monique got to feel it live. My 5 stars of the day are Jakob, IQ, BI, Jacoby, and Scotties. Scotties. Yeah, somebody was talking about Kleenex or something like that. But yeah, these guys are great. And that's the same 5 that I picked. That's the same 5 I picked, Fiercey. Let's go look at the rest of the stats for the rest of the Raptors. Colin got the start, and he got the cane, the yank, pretty early. He got 2 fouls pretty early, and then it was Jacoby right in there and doing things for them. But yeah, it was, I don't know. They wanted to give another start to Murray Boyles. They did. 8 minutes for him, 0 points. He took 2 threes and missed them. He had 1 rebound, and that's it, a -4. So he got that one stint right at the beginning, and then he came in for the second half. But he didn't start the second half. He came in, and he got a little bit of time in both halves. It is what it is. It's going to be different levels of different things, and Coach Darko knows best. That's what I think there. Sandro was fine. I give an honorable mention to Sandro. 16 minutes, 7 points. 3 of 8 from the field, missed both of his 3-pointers, made his only free throw, 3 rebounds, a -10. But the thing is with Sandro, he's providing you big guy stuff, presence, rebounding and defense. And in some ways, Jay Huff was a little dangerous around the rim last night. Some ways the Pacers were sneaking behind us and getting these weird dunks with Jackson and Huff. It was really kind of annoying. But yeah, in some ways, this wasn't the sharpest game by the Raptors. They didn't shoot well, but they still managed to win by 2 points by the end of the game. Jamison Battle, 14 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting, 3 rebounds, a -10, plus-minus. I mean, we could always try and find Jamison more. I mean, we didn't get any threes last night, hardly. And, well, he's a good guy to find. Oshai Abaji, 5 minutes, 0 for 2. Missed his only 3. He got a turnover, and that's about it, -4. Yeah, it just wasn't a totally clean game for some of our players. It was an ugly game in some ways. There was a lot of whistles. Those guys were jerks. I'm telling you, Kugat and Kirkland, they were assholes, total assholes. Like that one play where the Raptors challenged them, and they absolutely denied us the second challenge we did. And they said, oh, no, it's not right. And I saw after the challenge was denied and unsuccessful, Eric Curry himself came out on the court and talked to Courtney Kirkland for like a couple minutes, trying to explain what he's interpreting the rules to be. And Courtney Kirkland saying, no, that's not the rules with this. And Eric's like, but he's showing the motion. He's like, but this is what happened. And we should have won the challenge Because look, I'm the one who decides whether we should challenge or not on the Raptors. And you're making me look bad, Courtney Kirkland, because I told Darko he'd win this challenge. But then you said, no, he's not going to win the challenge. So I want to explain to you the NBA's rules, NBA ref, Courtney Kirkland. Courtney Kirkland was not hearing it. And he's just standing in his bullshit. That's what I say there. But we did have a challenge earlier in the game that I didn't even know was a challenge. Because at the end, like Courtney got on the mic and he said something like, the Raptors timeout is successful. What? What is that? It was wait, yeah, we could call timeout and call huddle and plan and do that. It's easy to do. What do you mean the timeout is successful? I don't know. It was confusing. Those guys are weird, man. Let's just put it that way. Kugat and Kirkland should not be reffing together. I think that may be part of the problem. Jamal Shed, 17 minutes, 2 points, 0 for 4, 0 for 2 at 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a minus 13. Just not a huge game. I mean, our bench points, you take Jacoby out of there, it's 11 points other than Jacoby. So yeah, it's just a weird game, man. Really weird game, and not like most of the games we played this year. Not at all. Grady Dick, tough game. 7 minutes, 0 points, 0 for 2, both 3-point attempts. He did get 3 rebounds and an assist, a turnover, a steal, and a block before he hit the ground hard on one play underneath the basket near our end where we were sitting. And, man, he left the arena. He didn't come back to the bench for precaution. But Darko said after the game, Grady's fine, and that they just took him out for precaution. So let's not overreact to this. I think that Grady may not miss any games, and he's okay. He was in the team photo later on, flexing his arms. So he's fine from what I can see. So, yeah, there's the rest of the box score with the other guys. An honorable mention to Sandro, really, all the other guys. But, yeah, we won. We won. That's what matters right there. All right, Naco the Nacho. Pacers weren't too bad last night, but we weren't hitting our shots in the first. This is crazy. Like, you know, Darko gave a lot of credit to the Pacers and Rick Carlisle for playing better than the last time we played them, and they are really hungry. And Nebhard, he's a competitor. Mathurin don't like losing, and Rick Carlisle, he's coaching his ass off to try and get them somewhere. I mean, this is 2 games in a row where the Pacers have taken the top 2 Eastern teams to the limit. They did the same thing on Monday night against the Pistons, and then they had to go against us and do this. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Somebody wrote in the Discord server last night that Kate Cunningham don't have a Brandon Ingram, so he's in trouble. I like that because in some ways there are a lot of parallels between Detroit and Toronto right now, but do they have a Brandon Ingram factor on their team? That's what we're going to have to find out. And, yeah, I can't wait to play the Pistons either. I really can't. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. Kaloy saying, I can see the Pacers start winning again. Alas, it won't start with us. You know, the thing is that they were hurt so bad to start the season that they really got in a hole of losing. And now their guys slowly come back. Like, you get Neesmith back. You know, they're not going to get Halliburton back this season, but they get Neesmith back. And, like, there's a couple other guys that are out for them right now, Furpy and Cam and different people like that. They'll probably be okay and start righting the ship again. But this is the thing. They're in a weird rut. In some ways, it gets mental, too. We know that. Losing can get out of control if you can't find ways to win, and it can be tougher for you to pull yourself out of that hole. So I do believe this, too. I think that as the Pacers get more healthy, as the season goes on, they'll win a little bit more. But they're still not going to be a top team. I don't know if they'll even make the play-in. But I hope that they win more just for their own spirits, you know. Kaloy's saying this. I can see the Pacers start. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Reggie's saying this. Brandon is the best pure scoring threat since Vince Carter, more complete. I mean, I put Kawhi on that list too. I mean, because the effect of Kawhi was the same way. Give it to him, and he'll take over the end of the game, and he'll just bring us home. So, you know, I think you got to keep all 3 of them in that category. I think you got to keep all 3 of them. Cream's here. I don't care if we face the Wizards 82 times in a row. As Raptors fans, we don't have to be apologetic for nothing. We played 82 away games, and last year we had the hardest schedule in the league. I can't argue with him. You know, they forced us to play a season in Tampa where we played 82 game away. And that's crazy. I agree with this. And, Darko said it himself after the game last night. There's no easy games in the NBA. None of these teams are easy to beat. And everybody can paint it this way or that way because of this record or that record. In some ways, look, we did have a hard schedule last year. We had the opposite of the schedule we have this year. Last year, we had every single top playoff team all the way up until almost Christmas. And we didn't see a single team like the Wizards until like March. And then that was devious of the NBA. To stack our schedule last year with all the hard games at the beginning, so we'd be feeling it. And then we didn't get the easy stuff till later. And that was when everybody's like, we don't need to win now because we're trying to get a better draft position. It was so devious, the design of our schedule last year. And I looked at it and I saw it and I was like, man, this is messed up. They're going to give us all our Nets and Wizards and Hornets games in the last 2 months of the season. So it made a really weird effect. And it had a lot of weird people like in Fan Nation kind of going all crazy. But they didn't see the forest for the trees of how the schedule was built for us to be so fucked up like that. This is very different. In some ways, look, I love getting the easier games at the beginning of the season, obviously, because then you can ramp up into the harder teams because you have more experience of success. And that's going to start happening in December. We're going to flip that calendar this weekend, and we're going to start seeing harder teams, Western teams, play more in the month of December. And those will be nice tests to have after these tests. Now, I don't mind having a runway of Washington and Charlotte and Brooklyn to get going in the season so that when we do take these other teams, we've got some feeling good going on around the team. So, yeah, I'm with you on this. I'm going to give you a dunk, Kareem, because I feel like your comment here is exactly on point. And I feel like, people that want to say that, the Raptors had an easy schedule and that's why their record looks like, you're not seeing the whole picture and you're kidding yourself and you're not understanding exactly who Brandon is. And you can go ahead and put your fingers in your ears like you did all summer about the Raptors not being a play-in team even or a playoff team. Well, your ears have come out. You can hear the noise about Brandon already, even if your fingers are in your ears. So go ahead and keep being an ostrich in the sand and don't believe that we're for real and we can beat good teams too. Because when we come around and do that too, you're going to be still going, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear the Raptors are doing well. I hate them. That's a lot of that energy, seriously, with the media and different people. They don't want to see us do well. And if they do well, they don't want to put it on blast. That's for sure. They don't want to put it on blast. I mean, look at the Lakers qualifying for the in-season tournament knockout round and just how much glazing that happens. We did that a week before them, and you didn't hear nothing. It was crickets. Crickets. It was crickets. That's right. Seymour's here. Good morning, Seymour. You guys, I do have the phone, and we will do the call-in. If you guys have the number and you do want to call me today, if you're one of the Raptor freaks that has the number, you can call in and get a call in on the show today. We'll hear you. Seymour saying Damon Stoudemire, Vince Carter, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, and now BI3, complete reliable offensive threats. They're different in different ways. And I like the list. I don't want to slight Damon, but he's not really on the tier with these guys. DeMar's closer than Damon. But in some ways, I don't know if we can say DeMar, but yeah, we could. There were a lot of games in the 2010s that he won on game winners, and he was absolutely carrying our team for a good chunk of that time with him and Kalo. So, okay, I'll take DeMar. But I don't know about Damon. The thing about Damon was he had one really good year, his rookie year. And then, the Raptors were so bad the other years. He didn't win a lot at all. That's the problem. Damon didn't really get a lot of clutch opportunities because the Raptors weren't winning very much. That's right. Neil's here. Good to see Neil. Trevor's saying that shot over Pascal was amazing by Brandon at the end of the game. Yeah, it was picturesque. It was fun. And honestly, what is better than a buzzer beater? What is better than a buzzer beater at home where the crowd just goes off? And the crowd was really good last night. In some ways, I did my thing where I yelled defense all games. Some people gave me stares, but I don't care. And some people joined in with me. But, yeah, I just got to do what I got to do because if I set that tone right from the start of yelling defense, the players have said it fuels them. It does fuel them, the home energy. So, if you're a fan, you're going to a Raptors game. If you're privileged and blessed enough to be in the Scotiabank Arena, use your damn voice. Do your part. Because, I know that not everybody's going to make noise in there, But the louder we are in there, that's part of our reputation. And one of the things I've always loved about the Raptors fan base is we're more like a collegiate basketball fan base. We need to be more like the Cameron Crazies and all those other crazy fan bases for college basketball, and less like some of the NBA fan bases. Because if you can have that college atmosphere at an NBA level, that's the stuff like Jurassic Park. That's the stuff with all, we need to be loud. And it was very loud in there at the end of the game. Great defense chance, and everybody on their feet for the last minute of the game to see Brandon hit that shot. Yeah, that energy is fun, and especially when you win. It's very, very nice. All right, I'm going to have to put the mic down so I can hold the phone and do what I do. All right, we do have the sheriff on the show, Sheriff Seymour Pape. Hello, sir, calling in from Alberta.
Yo, what's going down? You're good?
Yeah, man, I'm fantastic, man. You see this Airbnb I'm in right here? It's on the 19th floor, and I'm okay, guys. I've accomplished my fear, and I'm feeling good.
Yo, it's looking plush still. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's really bougie. And in fact, like I said, this is the same building that Real Sports is in. We're staying right next to the arena right now, which is absolutely insane. The balcony is like one of the balconies that Drake shot film from the top of the ACC for his video that he's like sitting on the roof. I don't know if people seen that Drake video, but yeah, it's crazy in here. And Adriana went above and beyond, I gotta say, Seymour. Yeah. So you want to do 4 quarters?
Yeah, let's do it up.
All right, let's go. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. Start number 1. First quarter, baby. Let's go.
So I'm gonna start it off with my big 3 from last night. Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Scotty, and then I'm going with
Jacoby, yeah.
I really liked what Shed did. I think a lot of people said that Shed didn't have a good game, but when he came in, he changed the momentum. Him, Jacoby, and Mamu really changed it, because I think we were down by like 10 or 12 at one point, and they came in and the whole vibe just changed. Yeah. I like the confidence that we're running with this winning streak, and you can see that the guys are playing to keep the winning streak going.
Yeah,
I like the confidence it's showing, and the team's looking good, man. We're looking good right now.
I agree with you, man. Some of the best, most effective lineups the Raptors have been putting on the court are the bench with Brandon. I like watching those lineups, and you know what? You're right. Even though there's his stat line isn't the best. But the whole game was kind of just ugly and not very good stat lines for both the Pacers and the Raptors. It's just like one of those grinding out kind of Eastern Conference style games last night. And I guess maybe because it was in-season tournament, because we had a shitty ref crew, there's just going to be that kind of like grind to it. But yeah, you know what? Shed's factor, it goes much more beyond the regular box score and the shadow box score. There's a lot of leadership and tempo holding and just direction that comes from Jamal Shed. Yeah, good observation.
That like a playoff vibe feeling in last night's games. I felt that like it felt like almost like a playoff vibe.
Yeah, I think the cup does raise it up. I think to a degree the NBA in-season tournament has actually been very successful for making games this early in the season feel a little bit more extra, for sure. Yeah.
Another thing too. Indiana and Boston, right? Like the supporting cast that they got, like their whole roster and everything. With their records being so poorly, and they're going to get a high draft pick. Do you see that as a sort of like a San Antonio Spurs that one year when David Robinson was injured and they got Duncan? Because both of those rosters are very deep playoff rosters. I know Boston sort of moved out a couple key pieces,
but
Indiana's team is still intact.
Yeah. I don't know. You know my feelings on tanking to get draft picks. I think it is a failed idea, and I think that it's just not smart, because you do a lot of damage to your team in the losing to try and get the position. In some ways, you just don't want to get bad habits. We're making good habits right now with what we're doing right now on this win streak. And, Indiana and Boston's a 500 team, not as bad as Indiana. But Indiana's not building any good kind of habits right now in some ways, and they're just frustrated. In some ways, they're more likely to be mentally dealing with things that are not fun. I mean, because this is what Siakam said in the last 2 weeks of what's going on with the Pacers. He's never felt losing like this. So think about that with Tampa and everything he went through in the times after the championship. He had it better with us during those periods, and we know those periods very well because we're Raptors fans. He's saying that what's happening with the Pacers now is way worse than anything he ever felt on the Raptors.
Yeah, I sort of feel bad for him because it's sort of like the same thing with Jakob. Because Jakob was on our team for a minute there, and then he got moved out, went to San Antonio, and San Antonio went down, and we went, and Pascal was part of us going on that rise. So now it's reversed, and Jakob's on our squad, and we're going up, and Pascal's on another squad going down. So it's just the way the game is.
It's the nature of the NBA, Yeah, I felt so bad for DeMar because in some ways when him and Yak went to San Antonio and we won, the Spurs were in some bad places for a couple years there. And, it's tough. I mean, it's just the way the league is. That's why you got to really cherish and love periods like this for us and our fan nation. And Siakam had that feeling last year when he went to the finals. And he felt real good last year. This year is night and day. I think that they're not going to pop back up, though, because – you know what? I think that losing Turner has really hurt them in some ways. And I think that also, the Celtics, you were exactly right. They sold a lot of their good players out to other places this summer, and they're not exactly going to come back at the same level that they were last year when they come back with Tatum next year. Even if they get a high draft pick, I don't think the Celtics are going to be up there anymore because they have drastically changed their team. And Drew Holiday is part of it. Porzingis is part of it. Horford is part of it. They're not the same team. They're much younger now, and they could be getting better, but they may take longer, and they may be kind of like I've always described the NBA escalator going up to Larry O'Brien. They may have taken some steps way back down just because of Tatum's injury and them losing this year. So, great stuff, Seymour. All right, what's next, man? Let's go.
I'm going to have to cut it short. Yeah, I got to continue that shit.
Okay, he just had a truck pull up. He's got to get the forklift because this man's at work. And I wish you the best, Seymour. I thank you for calling in today, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Let's go Raptors.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. All right, thanks for calling in, Seymour Pape. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. We got like 2 quarters, I guess. 2 quarters with Seymour there. That's pretty good. Y'all, you can call in too if you have access to my number. You have to be a member of the channel to get the number. If you're on the Discord or the Facebook group, you've had access to the number in the past. So you can call me if you want to, if you have the chance to right now. That's right. All right, let's keep going in the chat comments and let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see, you got to play the team in front of you. That's right. You don't get to decide this, and we're going to get to play everybody, at least twice for the season. We're just going to have to see. Monique saying it should have never been that close. Well, yesterday in the chat, in the stream yesterday, I kind of predicted this would be a close game. And with the ref crew being the ref crew, I knew that we were going to have – it was a trap game. I mean, I was saying it in the line coming in last night. I was like, this is a trap game because Kugat hates us. He absolutely hates us. And Kirkland's not been good to us either. Courtney Kirkland has a worse record with the Raptors than Scott Foster and Tony Brothers and Ed Malloy. So it's like we had 2 guys who are worse for us than Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and Tony Brothers reffing us last night. So, it was just a bad ref crew. And I knew they were kind of a hit squad. But that's a testament to the Raptors that we can do what we did last night and still get the W by the end of it. Because that was a really, really anti-Raptors ref crew. Just trust me on this. Those 2 guys are 2 of the worst to the Raptors in the league. Kugat and Kirkland. Really, really bad. Let's see. Kaloy saying this. Last night's game showcases that we need RJ Barrett. Pay the fucking tax, fuck-faced Rodgers. I don't think that this is the issue. And I think they will if we're showing signs that we're a legitimate championship contender. And it looks like we're showing signs of that right now. So that's not exactly what's going on here. But I will agree with the first part, saying last night's game showcases that we need Barrett. And there's a lot of Raptors fans going out on social media places saying, we're seeing the holes where Barrett would fill in, and we see why he's valuable. And I love that. That's much better than them saying we don't need Barrett and we should trade him and all this kind of crap that they were saying earlier this year. So I like the tides have changed on the rhetoric around RJ Barrett and his value to the Raptors. That's good because, he's in some ways it's not even insurance. He's another very bona fide scoring threat that just adds dimensions to our team that makes us even more scary to the rest of the league. And if the salary cap's fitting Bobby in with Brandon and Scotty and Emmanuel and Jakob, well, we need to have the absolute best, most talented team we can have to compete in the NBA. And you know what? Go for the second Larry O'Brien and be world champions again. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. I don't know. Rodgers, the signs of what he's done with the Blue Jays, with the financing or allowing them to pay to be more competitive, it's good signs that, if we're successful, Bobby's doing a good job GMing, Brandon's a huge success, and we are winning, that Rodgers will open up the pocketbook, guys, just so you know. Seymour's saying this, Pacers are a dangerous team, even without Hallie. Please respect Pascal. Yeah. The guy behind me started calling him Suckum. And I was like, I gave him an evil eye, and I was trying to set him straight. I was like, bro, don't do that. Don't do that, man. That man's jersey is probably going to be hanging in this arena in 10 years or so, or however long, I don't know, it takes. But Siakam's 43 needs to be up in Scotiabank Arena. And yeah, we don't disrespect guys who have good service for our team, is what I say right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's saying, do you think Jacoby has certified himself as being the first man off the bench? I think that the best way for Raptors fans to handle the rotations and the substitutions and the amount of time that our players get, whether it's battle, going off and getting a 7-for-7 game and then seeming like he's not playing anymore and people getting upset about that, is to have no expectations. To understand that Darko has a roster that has different weapons and different guys. They're on different biorhythms on different days. They get seen at different times that we don't see them, and that's at practice and different places. And they're very thoughtful in their decision-making about the rotations and the minutes distributions. I think that, it's in flux, and we shouldn't get used to anything being static and just the same for the whole year. So you can say something like that. You think Jacoby's certified him as being the first man off the bench? No, because that's not anything we should be doing. We should have it flexible so that whatever Darko feels like doing on that day is what he does. It could be Sandro is the first guy off the bench every game. It could be Jamal Shed is the sixth man coming in first. It could be Grady on a certain night. And we got to stop being so stubborn or inflexible as Raptors fans to say, this is just how it has to be. This has to be. No, the coach coaches the team. And he knows best, and he's having great success right now. So let the man cook is what I'm saying right now. But I think that Jacoby, if we're analyzing kind of the thing we've been kind of running back to every once in a while on this channel is who's winning or who's the most valuable player that we want to keep between all the 2s and 3s on our team, between Oshai and Jacoby and Grady and Battle and, everybody that's around that position. Yeah, Jacoby's number 1 right now for sure. But he wasn't a couple weeks ago, was he? Because it was Battle a couple weeks ago. And there's even been points where Grady has kind of looked like the number 1 in that group too. But that's the thing. They're very competitive because we have a lot of talent at that position. And that is exactly where Bobby's going to have to make the decision this summer, this before the trade deadline. And we're going to make a move. And it'll probably be somebody from around that position getting swapped for somebody that's a big. And we'll get another big on our team. And then it'll be a little bit more roster balance. And then maybe at that point, some people, like whoever is the Raptors who are still here at the 2-3 position, they're going to get more fleshed out minutes as backup guys off the bench after the starters. So instead of like Jacoby and Grady coming in and doing like 15-minute shifts, maybe they're getting 20 minutes by the end of the year because the field of guys at that position in our roster is thinned a little bit more. Yeah, I see that happening, but we need to be flexible, guys. And I feel like Raptors fans get so indignant and just butthurt about roster decisions and substitutions and who's playing just way too much. Let Darko cook is what I'm telling people. That's right. Trevor's saying this. Last night they had a moment of silence for the Indiana Pacers for being 2-16 for the season. You're being joking, right? I don't remember that moment. I was there. I don't remember that. Fiercely saying this. Mamu is also a strong contender for first man off the bench. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. So it's like this shouldn't be a thing. I know a lot of teams, if they have a certain way, they have a designated 6-man in a 6-man kind of role. But the Raptors don't really need to do this. In some ways, it's much more valuable, our situation, than just having a prominent known 6-man that comes in. You can think about the year with Lou Williams on our team. and just how designated he was the sixth man. He was such a sixth man that Drake wrote a song about him. And he was always the guy who came off the bench first. And he was always the guy who Dwayne Casey called the number to shoot the shot at the end of the game for clutch. It's just very predictable. I think that in some ways it's better to have it flexible and options like we do right now. That's what I'd say. Neil's saying this: Jacoby is the right piece for the starters while RJ is out. Darko needs to have CMB lock back up Scotty and develop him to improve his defense. This way, if Scotty gets hurt, CMB can step up. I won't disagree with your logic here, Neil. I think it's pretty good. The only thing is, like, I would argue this: we should maybe start Abaji. Yeah, because this is the thing. Right now, his trade value is not as good as it was last year. Last year, when Abaji was starting and we got him going in a certain way on both ends of the court, he was really valuable on the trade market. This year, in some ways, we're not showcasing him exactly right. Walter is a keeper for sure. I definitely want to keep Walter. I don't really want to trade him. Now, Oshai has a contract that's going to be changing at the end of this year. And in some ways, the writing is a little bit on the wall. But it would be smart for Webster to maybe start Abaji a little bit while Barrett's out, just so he can bring up his trade value. Because I'm telling you right now, it's very likely that Oshai is going to be the one who gets moved this year, is what I'm saying. I love him, and I think I'd love to have him on the team. I'm just reading the way the contracts are and the timing and where he is in his career. Of course, he's a couple years ahead of Grady and Jacoby. And in some ways, the decisions with Abaji coming off his rookie contract are coming up right now. And that's whether do you want to invest more money in him in the next stage of his next contract to be a Raptor still. And that's Bobby Webster's decision. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm just reading the tea leaves and looking at the situation from the outside and saying this is what looks like the most likely thing to me. And I would say, like, what if we did this? Like, what if we trade Abaji to the Nets and we get Day'Ron Sharpe somehow, some way, in some sort of move? And then all of a sudden we've got a third big to be out there for depth behind Pirtle. So that's what I'd like them to do. We'll have to see. G saying this: Yak timed that block perfectly. He waited too. He was a little delayed on it. I was like, damn, they let Siakam get all the way down there, but no, it was a trap. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. It's a trap. it's like they let Siakam just go right up to the lane and right up near the basket. But whoa, I didn't see Yak lurking behind the goalpost, because I was where I was sitting. I was on the baseline at that end. And, oh, there's Yak. He's all of a sudden, he just elevates and he blocks it. It was kind of like, blocking a kid in the driveway. He's like, oh, you're coming in here. Come on in, nephew. Yeah, try and score on me, Harry. Yeah, bam. There's a little bit of that kind of thing with that block on Siakam at the end. He did time it really well, and he waited for him. And it was almost like, oh, man, that's an easy basket. Like some of the Pacers baskets yesterday were so easy. I was like, damn, there's no effort on trying to stop them there. And I thought that was another one, but I was wrong. Jakob was there. It was a trap, Admiral Akbar. That's right. It was a trap. Kaloy's saying this: Pascal's a top 5 Raptor. I agree with this. I think he's a top 4 Raptor. We know my groats. It's Kyle, DeMar, Pascal, and Fred. Those 4 guys are honored. Never did anything wrong to the Raptors, and we should all love them because they're huge stories. They're success stories. All 4 of those guys for different reasons. They're absolutely made the Raptors franchise look good. You could give a lot of credit to 3 men for why the Raptors rose up in respect around the court, and that is Casey, Lowry, and DeRozan. In the 2010s, they brought us up to preeminence with the leadership of Ujiri, and that is gold. That is, in some ways, that's bona fide. And DeMar DeRozan was a sacrifice. And, Fred VanVleet, his story is just so amazing as an undrafted and what he's done in his career. We should be very proud of it and celebrating it. And Siakam, too, because he's similar to VanVleet in a lot of ways, too. Yeah, let's see. Kaz is here. Good morning, Trucker Kaz. Good morning, everyone. That game last night was great. Shout out to Yak getting that block on Spicy P. Yeah, I'm sure there's a bit of texting or calling back and forth after that. Who knows? Maybe Yak can, talk some major trash to Pascal. Now, he's like, maybe they do this. He's like, I'm sure their friendship is fun, especially when it centers around some of the stuff that happens on the court during an NBA game. Hilarious. Kaloy saying this: the team probably prepared for that Pascal ISO, and Yak perfectly timed that. Yeah, it was a trap. I could tell it was totally that. And you know, who's going to know Siakam better than the Raptors? What are his proclivities? What are his tendencies? What is he going to probably do? Well, he was on our team for a long time, and we do kind of know him pretty well. And Yak specifically, he's played with him 2 different stints. Very, very well. Knows him very, very well. Kaz is saying this: Mamu should be the first man off the bench, in my opinion, but Jacoby is playing well. Yeah, I mean it's flexible. In some ways, it has to do with the team we're playing that night. It may have to do with foul trouble. Is somebody who gets the 2 quick fouls, quickly gets 2 quick fouls like he did in a game recently, sheds the first guy in. So, you can't make hard, fast set rules. This is just who we're going to bring in as the 6th man first time off the bench every time. It's a different story every night on the NBA court. And you don't need to be inflexible. In some ways, that's why Casey got fired, guys, is that he just wasn't flexible enough to change his ways in some ways. Darko is very flexible. And in some ways, you want that in a coach. Because if there's too set in their ways, they're too predictable. And they're too easy to figure out. And that's not a good thing. Troy Henry's here. Good to see Raptor Freak Troy Henry. I'm happy the Pistons lost their game. What a close game for the boys, though. Not for a moment I was thinking the Raps would not win. Yeah, I feel that swagger and confidence, too, these days, Troy. As far as like, man, you know what? As long as it's close near the end, I have very good confidence that we're that team now that is favored to win in clutch situations at the end. That we haven't totally felt that. Like we've felt like underdogs for a long time. But do y'all feel like an underdog right now this year as a team when we go into games? No, I don't. I feel like a favorite to win, not the underdog. And I like that in some ways. In some ways, we've had so much time as a franchise, as an underdog. Well, it's nice to play not the underdog for once as a team like we are right now. It's fantastic. Jacoby got that chain. He deserved it. That's right. That's right. Kaz is saying hi to Adriana. Yeah, she was back there making coffee. This is a really nice Airbnb. It's weird though, man. Like I put the shades there. I could pull the shade up, and y'all, I don't know. It's not like you guys can see out the window and see the view we got. It's like because of the window and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's saying this. Oshai's body language isn't right. I think he's sour because Dick and Jacoby got extended and he didn't. Well, they're at different levels of their contract. It's easier to extend them. Like I said, Oshai's getting near the end of his rookie money level. And in some ways, that's the big difference is that he's going to have to get paid at a new level, or he's going to, what is he going to do? He's going to free agency and try and get whatever. It's just tough decisions. It's really kind of the thing where, like, if we want to replenish and kind of keep things going and have a lot of talent, if we invest a lot of money in Oshai, how do we, it could be like, do you have Oshai or do you have 3 young guys that you're paying on a rookie contract instead? It's kind of like that is what the thing is. And I don't know if, Oshai knows the business. He knows that this is just the nature of things. And in some ways he's game to be in good shape because he should do well. In some ways he can thank the Raptors for helping him be more prominently, publicly a 2-way player, because a lot of the offensive stuff that he did for us last year really opened people's eyes to him being very useful at both ends. So we've got to showcase him, seriously. And I do feel like, we'll just have to see how things go. Either way, he can't be that happy. He's just happily newly married, and he has a baby coming. So he's got a lot of things going on in his life. And, he's going to be good either way. So I'm not worried about him. He's enjoying being on the team and being around the guys because he does enjoy it. But don't get it twisted. Oshai Abaji has a beautiful wife, a beautiful baby coming. And he's a millionaire. let's not get twisted. The man is blessed. Let's go. Yeah, G's here. Good to see Isaac also. Playing against the Nuggets in the past stood out for me because I recall Raptors coming out strong, and the Raptors and the Nuggets would steal games in the end, being steady, composed, and confident. That's how we look. Yeah. That's a certain characteristic of a good team. Is like, this is the thing. Every game's different. We can't just say, oh, we're going to win this game this way. No, every single game is going to be different. And we've seen that recently. And it is really cool how, even though we are not playing well, because I'll go look at the team stats right now. That game last night, we didn't play well at all. And we still managed to win. That says something. That says something right there. We did not shoot well. We've been getting out rebounded in games recently, and we're still winning. There's a lot of interesting ways that we're winning. We're finding ways to win that aren't necessarily the stereotypical settings that you need to win. Like last night, we did not shoot better than them. They shot 45%. We shot 39%. But we got way more shot attempts. So we were getting after it. We were getting loose balls. We were getting offensive rebounds. We were getting turnovers, and we just got more shot attempts than them. In fact, we had 12 more shot attempts than them, but we made the same exact amount of field goals, which is interesting. Now, the three-pointers, they doubled us up. They had 11 threes, and we only had 5. And 3 of those three-pointers were Jacoby. Guys, we won a game last night in the NBA, and we only made 5 threes for the whole game. That's almost just 1 3 per quarter. How did we do that? How did we do that? How did we win a game shooting 38% and 5 threes were made for our whole entire team last night? Well, we did. We won. And this is all that matters is right here. It can be ugly. It can be not totally good. And yeah, we did it. Free throw line, 81%. That's fantastic. The Pacers shot 61%. In some ways, they messed up there. You know, if you really want to get mad at them, Pacers fans, tell them to make their free throws because they missed 9 free throws and they only lost by 2. Yeah. Rebounds. We did out-rebound them last night, +5, which is good. In fact, we had 12 offensive rebounds last night, which was good. Assist-to-turnover ratio is the most crucial stat for the Raptors in their winning streak that's right now. But this is the crazy thing. They failed at this finally last night. All right. Pacers, 20 assists, 18 turnovers. That's pretty even, 20 to 18. The Raptors, 18 assists to 13 turnovers. So we've been recently getting like 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio as a team. But last night, it was almost 1-to-1, 18 to 13. That's only 18 assists. That shows you right there that our offense wasn't exactly right last night because we've been getting 30 assists a game, and we didn't even manage to get 20 last night. How the hell did we win this game? Brandon Ingram. That's it. Fast break, they beat us 11-9. We only had 9 fast break points. How much have we been relying on kicking that ball up the court and getting really easy baskets like crazy? Rick Carlisle and the Pacers didn't let us do that last night. Credit to them for game planning on that. And the points in the paint, we won by 6, 46-40. So, yeah, the couple of key stats. One, a lot of stats that normally don't look like winning stats still getting a win. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, I know you don't like talking trades, but I'm going to only say this once. Oshai out. You know, it's not even, I just think it's likely. I mean, if we're just speculating trades and just throwing stuff out there, I don't like that kind of talk. I think that this is more realistic. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to get the trade machine out and just like throw random people's names in and just try and make things line up. No, I'm reading the terrain, and it's just the way it is. And the symbol of it is partly we did not extend him when his deadline was at the beginning of the season. And it's just how it is. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. Always good to see you in the chat on the Raptor Freak channel. Isaac is saying this. I heard that Scotty watched the ref report in the morning. And before the game, he cooked those refs breakfast and sang them their favorite songs. Yeah, we know Murat Kugat loves Queen. And, I don't think I was singing that to him last night. You know what I was singing to Murat Kugat and Courtney Kirkland last night? Ref, you suck. Ref, you suck. That's what I was singing to them at one point. If y'all heard that chant at one point, it was after the conversation with Eric Curry and Courtney Kirkland. I started yelling, ref, you suck. Because, they pleaded with them. In some ways, it's crazy. The NBA rules are interpretive. It's like you can interpret them, and they can be different on any given night. Oh, that was that night, but this night it's this. Interpreted. That's right. I love that. Isaac, you're getting a dunk for being silly, man. Listen, I'd be flattered if Scotty finds any kind of knowledge from my ref report for the night as far as the referees are. And if he is using our channel for that, well, good stuff, Scott. I love it, man. Keep going. I part of why I'm doing it is for the fans. But if the players want to know the ref report too, that's great. I mean, I gave it to Donald Ingram last night after the game. Mr. Ingram, I told him, I was like, the percentages for Kugat, we win 30% of our games if he's present. He's absolutely horrible for us. And Courtney Kirkland, it's less than 40% too. So these are two guys that we just don't win when they're refereeing. Trust me. But we did last night, and it was pretty awesome. So, Isaac, you got a dunk. Cool Cat saying this. Yak knows Siakam's game was ready to block that shot. Yep. It's your buddies to lock you up. It's out of love in some ways, on some level, right? I love you. I know you so well. I have to do this. I'm sorry. In some ways, it's kind of like that. Seymour saying this. Oshai came here from Utah. Toronto is a major improvement from a city like Utah. Different culture, different vibes. I'd be a little bitter too to leave a great situation. Well, I don't know if he's bitter. I think that you guys can read it different ways. I think the man's partially tired because his regular life is just so active and all kinds of stuff. You know, he had to plan a wedding this year, and they got married, and like he's got a baby coming, or did she have the baby yet? I don't even know. He could be in that first year dad period where he's not sleeping partly because he has to go feed the baby in the middle of the night. So there's a lot of different things that could be going on with those shy that are distractions to a degree. And you guys may be reading them a little bit from that. Now, yeah, it is an upgrade to go from Utah to Toronto. But, you know, what if we traded him to the Bucks and he goes home because he's from Milwaukee? There's other destinations that Baji could be on. He could be very happy too. You know, I know everybody wants to be a Raptor and everyone wants to stay a Raptor forever. Well, in some ways you are. Once you put on the red Raptors jersey, you are a Raptor forever in our hearts. And that's what I say to that. Yeah. Trevor's saying that block was nasty. Get that garbage out of here, Jack Armstrong. Yeah, get that garbage out of here. Yeah, it was awesome. Very timely. We're seeing the duality of a very important game-winning defensive play and a very important game-winning offensive play, whether it's blocks and clutch shots. Scotty, Brandon, Jakob, RJ, Emmanuel. Yeah, there's both sides of the ball. Winning plays are happening in the last 2 minutes of the game. And it's awesome. It's awesome. We need that. Kenrick's here, guys. Good to see Kenrick, Chronic Art James. He's a tattoo artist in the greater Toronto area. If you guys need some ink on your body, especially a Raptors tattoo, well, Kenrick can be your guy. If you guys look him up on social media, just look up Kenrick, Chronic Art James. He does art also by commission other than tattoos. If you want a nice design or something made, Kenrick can be your guy. So look him up, guys. He's done work for this channel before. It's absolutely awesome. Let's see. Jacoby has to start if RJ is out. Colin is hang on. He has a strong opinion on this. And I won't tend to disagree with him on this one. Hang on. I lost my spot. I'm going to come back to it. I don't know why the YouTube chat sometimes jumps way ahead. All right. Jacoby has to start if RJ is out. Colin just has to get used to 82 games. Yeah, I'm not totally sure why they started Murray Boyles last night. Because it's, in some ways, when you put him in that lineup, you're slotting Scott or Brandon at guard. Like, seriously, who's the other guard with Emmanuel in that situation? And was that necessary to have four kind of forwards? No, three forwards and a center and a guard? Because that's the lineup we started last night. Because Murray Boyles is a forward. He's not playing the two. No. So who was the two last night? Was it Brandon or was it Scotty in that starting lineup? It's a little weird. Maybe in some ways, like maybe they should have done this. Maybe they should have played Scotty as the point guard starting last night and have Colin at 4 and Brandon's the 3 and Emmanuel's the 2. Like in some ways, they could have done some interesting things with that starting lineup, but it doesn't really seem like they actually did like that kind of a layout. Because in that lineup, to me, Scotty's naturally the other guard. Seriously, if you think about it deeply, it's not Brandon. I don't think Brandon Ingram is the 2, right? And is Scotty a 2? Or in some cases, if you're going to slot him at guard, might as well slot him at 1. And then let Manuel play his combo guard too. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. In some ways, I think they could have gotten into the game last night a little smoother with that kind of mentality of that. That's the position Scott's playing right now. It's like, okay, I'm the point guard tonight since Colin's starting. You know, because if Jacoby's in, he's obviously the 2. He's obviously the 2. So it's like when I saw that line, I was like, is Scott playing guard tonight to start the game? It's really an interesting starting lineup. It was a big lineup. And I don't know if that team that we're playing last night needed a big lineup like that because the Pacers are a little bit more quicker and smaller. And I would have thought that they would have started Jacoby like I predicted yesterday. But they started Colin. I don't know. Maybe they just want to get his start stats up for the year. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying Toronto shuts down at 2 a.m. Utah shuts down at 9 p.m. Big difference. Yep. Yep. Yeah, if that's your life, that's right. Nako's saying road to 16 wins continues. Yeah, you want to get that win streak. Man, I have to. The thing is, if we get past New York on Sunday with this thing, we're going to start hitting those Western teams when we're getting closer to getting to 16, Gerald. So it could be very interesting. Could be very interesting. I hope they do. Of course, I want them to break records and do better than they ever have right now. That'd be awesome. James is saying better performances from Jacoby whenever given steady minutes. Well, that's true for any players. That's part of the toughness about kind of trying to figure out new combinations with players, and like maybe some players aren't getting consistent minutes to the same level like they are used to. In some ways there's a security in knowing like I'm going to get a 20-minute stint every night no matter what. But in some ways these guys are not living that right now. They could get yanked really quick if you're not one of the starters. So, yeah, in some ways you just got to play very, very well. And even if you're not making shots, if you're contributing and winning ways like Jacoby was when he wasn't making shots, once you make shots, well, you're going to look real good. But, man, Grady's in a slump, obviously. His shots are open, and they're just not going down. Grady, you got to tighten up. Some people are speculating that Grady Dick is missing because of all the new muscle. Because of the new muscle, it's made his arms have to be adjusted to – he has to adjust. This is often true with shooters. If they get more muscle on their arms, their shot goes a little off. And that may be what's happening with Grady right now. That may be because he is growing muscle a lot, and he needs it for the defense. So it has to happen. That's right. Seymour's saying this. Jordan Poole balled out with Bay Area Instagram models on the side. Glorilla is giving BI that extra boost. Anyway, this is the stuff I don't totally cover on this channel. But, yeah, that's interesting. Kaz is saying that Ingram quote post-game was cold. He was at my mercy. Yeah. He said, yeah, Slim Reaper is Kevin Durant, but Slim Sleeper has a scythe too, apparently. He was at my mercy. Oh, man, that's crazy. Let's see. Trevor's saying this. Her picture over NBA shows they talk about her a lot now for being at the front court, bringing the energy. Glorilla? Well, I don't mind her. I mean, she's a pure, unadulterated pure fan for our team with Brandon on it. And hey, listen, any good feelings people associate with Toronto and the Raptors, whether it's the Quickly family, Mr. Ingram, Sandro's friend Alessandro, any of those people, that's great because those memories last and those good feelings feel. And that's why alumni for the Raptors over the years say, no, man, Toronto was great. I loved it, man. The fans, the city, and everything like that. That's what we're doing. We're giving good memories to Glorilla and the Ingram family and all the Raptors families. They're sitting over in this section. I saw them over there. I saw Miss Collins' mom and his brother sitting in the section over there again, and Sandro's girlfriend sitting with Alessandro. Yeah, that's what you want. Good memories, good experiences, good success. And, yeah, that's why people love Toronto. That's right. That's right. Kaz is saluting the sheriff, Seymour Pape. Seymour saying this. Andre Drummond bought 20 pairs of Angel Reese's shoes because he likes her a lot, but she chose Wendell Carter Jr. of the Magic, and Andre wanted to fight at center court over her. That's a little bit of the side story. I knew that Wendell was with Angel. I saw this recently, and I did see that scuffle between Drummond and Carter at half court, and I didn't put two and two together. I didn't know about the Drummond stuff. He tried to buy her shoes to try and win her favor. I think that one thing Andre Drummond has to understand is, all right, if you're trying to get a Bam Adebayo, Aja Wilson kind of thing going, you're an older player, Drummond. You're older. I think Angel Reese is pretty young, and Wendell Carter's pretty young. I think this is part of the problem here. In some ways, he's like the old guy. He's like, hey, Angel, I'm Andre. I walk like a penguin. Do you want to kick it with me? Gross. You're old. Sorry, Wendell, where are you? Is that the kind of shit that's happening right there? I don't know. That's a dramatic reenactment like Unsolved Mysteries. Please do not take that as the reality. But who knows? I can only speculate. And yeah, okay, this is filling in more of the puzzle pieces on that little fracas between Drummond and Carter the other night. Okay, all right. Thank you for the details there. Yeah, and let's talk about Angel Reese for a second. Her brother, Julian Reese, will be back in action on Saturday against the Long Island Nets with the Raptors 905. If you're a Raptors fan and you do not watch the 905 in the Development League, in the G League, you should start this year. Because listen, the winning is there too right now. So it's like we can't go wrong. This whole month of November, we lost one game, and that was to the Philadelphia 76ers on that Saturday back-to-back where they trapped us with that schedule to lose that game. We won every single game the Raptors have played this month otherwise, and every single 905 game has been a win. So if you like winning and you want to watch more winning, watch the 905. And Julian Reese, the younger brother of Angel Reese, is a backup, a big on that 905 team, and he is a nice prospect that's coming up. So I'm telling you, one of our big man possibilities is in Juju Reese. Because this kid, I'm telling you, I've watched basketball a long time. I've scouted a lot of stuff. And I can tell you right now, Julian Reese is a keeper, Bobby Webster, and you need to get that man protected because somebody else in the league is going to come snatch him and sign him from our team in the G League. So you need to figure this out. If they do make a move for him, I don't want to lose him because seriously, he's a keeper. If we can keep Julian Reese on our team and y'all want to see him play, the next opportunity will be Saturday against the Long Island Nets. We'll be playing them. That 905 resume their season. That's right. Let's see. Superfan Mo saying stars of the game, BI, Jacoby, Scotty, IQ, Yak, same as Lex. We were there. Yeah. It's so good to see Mo and catch up with her for a second. It's always a fun homecoming to come to the game and see all the familiar faces, all the different people around there. I think some of them see me and they're like, oh, there's the Raptor streak over there. Yeah. I love you, Matt and Jack and Alvin. And if you guys do watch me for notes in the morning to help you guys with your broadcast, maybe it's just we're saying the same things because it's the same things to say. But sometimes I do feel like y'all are using me as cliff notes in the morning to help you set up for the game later. Either way, I'm flattered. Even if you're not, hey, I'm going to do what I'm doing either way. That's right. All right, let's keep going. Seymour is saying big ups to Trucker Cass, and Smooth saying it's good for this young crew to experience winning. Definitely. Like that's what you got to ask Jacoby and Grady and Colin Murray Boyles. Would you like to play 30 minutes and lose 50, 60 games this year? Or would you like to play 10 minutes and win 50 or 60 games this year? That's what I'm saying. And, where do you learn more as a player with less time, but you're winning and you're learning winning ways with winning around you? Or do you, lose a lot? And what do you learn during the losing and playing so much? That's what I'm saying. You want quality, you want talent on your team. And sometimes that talent comes to your team and it knocks the hierarchy down a couple pegs. And that is good because that means you're winning. And that's what matters in this league. That's what matters is winning. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. Yeah, you can come in there if you want. It's cool. You want to sit down? You what? Like for today? Oh, you have them there. Okay, you making me think you left them at your house. Okay, we're good. We're good. She's got to take some medication. You want to come in? You show your new sweatshirt, Adriana. Look at her new sweatshirt. I love that sweatshirt with the logo. Look at Adriana. She looks like she's tired. You're okay though, right?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Get cracking.
Yeah. She said get my preview done so she can hang out with me. I don't know. Maybe we should go. You want to go to the aquarium? Should I put a poll up and see what we should do?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. We were down here for the day, and we don't have any plans really today. What should Lex and Adriana do with their time next to the Scotiabank Arena? Let me just write it in. Do what? All right. I'm going to put in one of the things is the aquarium. We're talking about going there. Let's see. This may be a silly aside. Also, rec room. I think the rec room's kind of fun with the video games and stuff like that. We could do that. I don't know. Maybe we should do a tour of the Scotiabank Arena, Adriana. We could go down there and see if we can go around the arena. Maybe we should, I don't know, go to St. Lawrence Market. I don't know. We'll put in 4 different little.
Or just be lazy.
Just be lazy. All right. You want that to be one of them? All right. Just be lazy is the last one. All right. Yeah. Enjoy being lazy. All right, guys. The poll is up now. And yeah, what should we do? So goofy. We do these goofy polls sometimes. We'll see what you guys say. All right, let's keep going in the chat with the chat stuff. Let me see. Where am I now? I'll find my place real quick. Oh, yeah, it's Thanksgiving today in the States. Happy Thanksgiving, Bryce. That's awesome, man. All right, here we go. We got Wayne Strainer here. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Totally enjoyable game. Just 2 things. Ditto to Shaq Lindsey. Tremendous potential, but not up to the project. Love Glorilla. No problem. But no one replaces our made in Canada. You mean Drake? Okay. All right. Let me parse this out real quick. Very enjoyable game, but not up to the project. You know, this league is hard to be like a set standard the whole entire every game. And I like the fact that it was ugly. I like the fact that they didn't play perfectly. I like the fact that they didn't shoot well, and I like the fact that they still won. In some ways, like I say to my buddy Steve, just win. That's all we say every day. And if it's just that we get the right outcome at the end, I don't care how ugly it is. I don't care if five guys fouled out. I don't care if somebody shot 3 for 21. I don't care about any of that. Just as long as the one stat comes out like this. So it's tough. The great thing is they're going to be learning either way, whether we're winning or losing. And Darko talked about it after the game. It's like we're getting better every game, whether we win or not. And in some ways, winning is great because we're teaching winning. We're getting good habits. But in some ways, they can improve while they're winning too. And yeah, sure, there are a lot of things about last night that we can improve. Yeah, for sure. So it's good. It's good stuff. James saying, I would trade away Grady and Oshai for a legit backup big. Goga Bizate of Magic, in my opinion, needs shooting. Plus, they have Orlando needs shooting. Plus, they have 2 backup bigs in Isaac and Wagner. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have Goga paired up with Mamu. They are teammates on Georgia, and they are friends. And that is very interesting kind of synergy there. And in some ways, Goga is more of the real big on the team, Georgia. And Sandro is like more of a forward, maybe even a 2. Sometimes it's crazy the way he plays for Georgia. He doesn't play like a big at all. He plays very much swing. And Goga is more traditionally a big for Georgia. So I don't mind that name coming to our team. But I don't know. You may have the wrong priority list for who the Magic would want to keep out of there. You say Jonathan Isaac, they keep him over that? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Isaac's getting closer to the end of his career, and he doesn't have as much value at this point. So I don't know about that. Although Isaac is really cool with the DeVos family and their weird ideologies. So he might be there just because of that. And, of course, Mo, well, he's got to be around his brother, right? That's right. That's right. Let's keep going. Let's see. James is saying Shed, Jacoby, Colin, Mamu, and Goga. Goga. I don't know. That's in some ways, I think that when you look for where you may target to get a player from a team, you got to look at the situation, what's going on with them. Obviously, there's been overtures that Dallas is going to be in a rebuild, and they want to get rid of their veteran guys. So Gafford may be very realistic to try and get. And the Nets are a mess. So they don't really have any kind of reason to hold on to certain players in certain ways. So Sharp may be available too. Now, is Goga going to be available from the Magic in that situation? Realistically, looking at it from the outside, I don't know if that's true. That'd be tough. Let's see. Wayne's saying this. James put that nonsense in the garbage. After a hard-fought win, you come in with that nonsense. We agree with Oshai on more than just a whim. Miss us, please. Yeah, I mean, I get it. We are kind of talking this way today, though, Wayne. We're a little bit more open about trade talk just for today, partly just because of where we started with talking about Abaji. And it's fair to do right now. It's fair to do to an extent, but we don't want to do it too much. Kareem's saying this. You got to learn how to lose to learn how to win. This shit is contagious. All these wins are building character. We win in close games. We're blowing out teams, and we're closing quarters. And we're building swagger. We're building energy. We're building confidence. We're building trust. We're building camaraderie. We're building winning ways. And, it's a long season. Like Darko said last night, there's going to be ups like we're on now, and there's going to be downs also. And, we just got to ride it through. And, hopefully we can be more successful most of the whole entire year than not successful. And, right now, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. It is all building character, and I like building character through winning. That's better than the opposite. Bryce is saying this. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Free crew. Happy Thanksgiving to those that are celebrating today. BI is so insane. His poise and calm demeanor is kind of scary. He's a killer, man. Scotty is a top 3 two-way player in the league. I like everything you're saying here, Bryce. Happy Turkey Day to you, sir, too. Let's remember the best things about Thanksgiving are showing gratitude and being with family. And, it's just really important to have a touchstone to the good things in your life and realizing what they are and, going over it in your head. If you're just kind of running around and just being a jerk and you don't really appreciate the good things in your life, well, those things will probably leave you, is what I'll say right there. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Bryce. And I hope you guys have a great day celebrating today. Yeah, BI is interesting because, I never really thought of him as a very emotive person, but he really is. Like, he shows a lot of emotion on his face. And he's been smiling so much lately. And it's great to see him smiling. And yeah, some people are saying, like, I've seen a couple of New Orleans fans in different places on social media saying there's two sides of it. Like, there may be some fans that are surly and sore about what's happening, but some of them are very happy for Brandon. Some of them are like, you know what? I felt bad for him while he was with us, and we're just kind of spinning wheels. So it's really nice to see a guy we really like go somewhere else and just kick a lot of ass and have success. So I appreciate Pelican fans that are not mad at what's happening with Brandon right now and just kind of really love him as a fan of his from when he played for y'all and seeing where he's at right now. And I know it can hurt to a degree because in some ways when Siakam left us and went to Indiana, we saw him much happier after he left Toronto because it was really dark in Toronto the last couple of years for Siakam. And it kind of hurt in some ways to me. It's like, man, Siakam is having a better time in Indiana right now. He's smiling way more. So I guess, I can feel the tough thing about that for Pelican fan right now with Brandon from what we went through with Siakam in the last couple of years. But you know what? I'm happy for Siakam to go to the finals. I'm happy for Siakam to look so good last season because in some ways he makes us look really good too. Going forward too, because he is a product of development here in Toronto. So yeah, but yeah, Brandon fans that still love Brandon, even though he wears a Raptors jersey now, salute and respect. And if you are watching me because of that, respect. Thanks for the sub and thanks for the watch. Yeah, let's see. Scotty is definitely a really, really good player, and he needs to get a lot of accolades this year. If the Raptors are at the top of the Eastern Conference at the end of the year, I expect Scotty Barnes to be at least on the defensive first team this year. If he's not on the defensive first team, he better damn for sure be on the second defensive team. Maybe even in the running for defensive player of the year. And you know what? Honestly, he's an all-NBA player also. That at the end of the year, he may not be first team all-NBA. He may not be second team all-NBA, but he needs an all-NBA appearance also this year. That's what I'm saying. Scotty needs a couple of awards this year. NBA, you better come correct with them. That's right. All you voters. That's right. You better come correct. Let's see. Seymour saying this. The Sergeant with the big chase down block on James in the chat. I love it. It's all good. Sergeant in arms. He can bang the gavel. He is a bailiff on this channel. And he's like, order. Nope. Too much speculative trade talk, guys. It's not what we do on this channel. It's not what we do. That's right. Neil saying this. One day there's going to be headgear designed to protect basketball players' head while hooping. Why? Why would they do this? I like the rules. In some ways, the NBA rules are very protective for head and neck, swinging at somebody's head or neck. That's where you get the flagrant. That's where you get the 2 free throws and the ball side out of bounds. They do a pretty good job of this, honestly. Are you worried about Grady because he hit his head? Grady's such an aerialist when he gets up and he's trying to do something in the air. And if he gets hit a certain way, he can get turned sideways. And then all of a sudden he's landing on his back or something like that. We saw that with the injury last year that took him out for most of the rest of the season last year against Orlando, that game. And well, last night, the way he fell on the floor was similar to kind of like that. But man, I'm telling you right now, Grady's going to be fine. He looked fine in the picture after, and Darko said he's fine after the game. It's not like with RJ. Let's go to the Instagram stories real quick because there is something on the Instagram stories from Matt Devlin, and he's posted the RJ Barrett injury update. And it's basically saying this. The Toronto Raptors announced Wednesday that medical imaging has revealed no structural damage to the right knee of guard forward RJ Barrett. He has been diagnosed with a sprain, and he will be reevaluated in 7 days. His condition will then be updated as appropriate. The thing is with RJ, and he was sitting on the bench last night, and that was good to see. And he was chumming around with AJ Lawson and just having a nice time being a spectator of the game. He wasn't really at the last game. But yeah, I don't know. I think RJ's not as hurt as everybody thinks. in some ways, I could speculate this, that the Raptors have been so good and so talented. Maybe, they're like, RJ, you got slightly hurt. We want to take precautions. It could be that Grady doesn't play in the next game just to take precautions, because it opens up windows for bigger stints for Walter and Abaji or whoever else in their absence. So it's almost like, somebody's going to get hurt at some point. And, we need to test these guys out on more minutes and give these guys opportunities. And maybe RJ's like slightly hurt. And they're like, okay, we're going to let RJ come and play. And he's not going to play, and we're going to let the other guys play more. All right, we've got another caller on the air for the Raptor Freak call-in show today. And today we have Infamous on the air. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Raptor Freak. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Great to hear you again today.
Yes, it was great win. Salute to you and the Raptors family. I'm gonna say again, these thoughts are my thoughts alone and nobody else, and that is not a reflection of the show.
I should do that at the beginning of my show every day.
But I'm gonna go through some bullet points because I don't want to take too much of your time, so I'm concising my thoughts into bullet points so we could just
you want to do 4 quarters? We could do 4 quarters too.
You know what? I don't see more paper. I don't want to take away from what you guys.
Okay, we'll call it bulletin points with infamous bulletin points.
Yeah, I just want to keep it concise so we don't go off track.
At some point, I'm gonna have theme songs for these segments. At some point.
Right. Okay, so I want to say regarding last night's game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon deserves a lot of the praise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Scotty was the table setter.
Yeah,
I call him the table setter. He really set the table for that game with his defense on Siakam, limiting him when it was coming down. Like, there was one thing I questioned, one thing I didn't understand. Like, going down the stretch, I didn't understand why they didn't go to him more, because the lead evaporated because when we went away from him. What do you think?
Going away from Scotty?
Yeah, down the stretch, like when the game was close. I find that they were kind of not getting the ball to him more down the stretch, and that's why the lead kind of evaporated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can completely correlate those completely together as causal effects. But I think you're right. I think that in some ways, one of the things I think is that Scott in some ways does not want to be the clutch guy. In some ways it's not that he doesn't want the pressure. It may just be that, like, in some ways he doesn't think that maybe he's refined his offense completely to the level where he can be absolutely dependent on like a bucket like Brandon is.
Uh-huh.
And I think that, you see it in his mid-range shots and his low post shots, even though he's really close and they're high percentage, some of them are still rimming out and they're not as money for execution. It's kind of like in a video game when you play like a football game or a basketball game and you're playing like the coach's mode and you can use different like play sets. You want that one that's really money and you can depend on that'll go through. And in some ways, that's why you want to call Brandon, because he's going to be more money. Scotty's great, and I know it may very much change in the next couple of years where Scotty develops a more clutch gene, and he wants to do it, and he wants to take the game over and win it at the end. But right now, I feel like he's still in the middle of his career, and he's refining some of the tools that he's using down low. And they're not totally clean, because even like really easy shots, it's like kind of bouncing around the rim and rimming out. And we don't want to rely on him for a last second shot. Even if he gets a high percentage shot in the lane, it's still kind of rimming out. And he has to go get a garbage point and maybe go grab the rebound and then put it back. Because there's a lot of that going on with him where he misses the first shot and then he cleans it up and puts it back.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But I would say this, as he refines himself and he gets more comfortable with the turnarounds and the low post stuff, maybe he will be more relied on that down the road,
That's a great point. I didn't look at it that way. That's a great point. My next point, we got to start putting Darko and Scotty, of course, in the conversation of Defensive Player of the Year, and Darko as in the conversation of Coach of the Year, because we need to start putting those narratives out to the media now. Yeah. Because a lot of this stuff is media generated. Yeah. So I think we need to start saying these things
Campaigning.
out loud,
Yeah.
campaigning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very
Definitely.
true. I think in past years, Matt Devlin was very key for this because he would do stuff like Freddie All-Star. And that helped Fred get an All-Star that year. He started saying the calls, Freddie All-Star, Freddie All-Star. And then all of a sudden, Fred VanVleet's an All-Star. These kind of things can help for sure. And I think that, whether it's pundits like Kendrick Perkins on U.S. media or it's people on our broadcast bringing up, Scotty's really looking like a defensive all team, Jack. I agree with you, Matt. That kind of stuff. Those kind of conversations happening is part of how we get that going, like what you're saying. So the big test is we'll have to hear what the U.S. people are saying down south. And I think that, once again, this is one of the weird things that works in the Raptors' favor of being overlooked by the U.S. media is when they don't understand us, when they say things, I don't know what the Raptors are doing, like they said this summer. When we surprise them and we have success, once again, our coach looks real good. And he gets a lot of favor for Coach of the Year because nobody expects jack shit from us because they don't want to pay attention to us. And then all of a sudden we kick ass and they're like, oh, it must be their coach. You're a Coach of the Year, Darko. So,
or it's Brandon, or everything has to do with Brandon.
Yeah. So I see that happening. I think that he is very much an early front runner for Coach of the Year already, and people are speculating that. So if our broadcast team brings it up regularly for the rest of the year, I'm sure we can get a lot of good work in campaigning for these guys to win these awards.
So. Okay, so let me get to the next bullet point. The Raptors have become addicted to winning, and I believe winning can become an addiction because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Last year when we were losing, we were in these particular spots. We would basically not have the confidence to close out games and not have the confidence to believe that we can win.
Yep.
So when you become addicted to winning, it becomes obsessive where you do not want to lose again. And I think this is going to bode well, especially in the playoffs.
Yes.
And this goes well with what Darko's doing because teams. It's basically like pick your poison. I mean, you covered everything so well. So it's hard for me to come up with something that's different from what you're saying. But one thing I noticed is that the teams are becoming very disrespectful. And let me explain what I mean by disrespectful.
Ours?
No, other teams that are playing us are becoming very disrespectful. They're realizing, they're like saying, hey, we don't have to run it. We don't have to double coverage Brandon all the time. We don't have to send a double team on Brandon. And Darko's realizing this, and he's saying, all those people that are complaining why Brando's going into ISOs, it's strategically planned because if you're not going to double team him, he can burn you he can burn anybody one-on-one.
It's a protocol. It's a protocol that that Darko sets that they all know, and they say Brandon has a very set up decision-making system. And I think what's happened is they were doubling Brandon like crazy in the last week. In certain games, it's different teams are making different decisions on any night. I think that what happened last night with the Pacers was Rick Carlisle's like, I don't necessarily want to double him. And I feel like the team on Monday, the Cavs didn't want to double him either. And it was not the Cavs. It was the game where he got 37, right?
Yeah, they didn't double
him. Now it's like, all right, I think that some teams have doubled him and they've seen that he's passing out and that's not working. So like, well, what's the point of doubling him if he's going to pass out? So let's not double him. Let's see what happens now. So there's like a feeling out period of like, let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. It's not working either way. And I think that's why in the recent games, people have not tried to double Brandon. I don't totally get it. I mean,
I don't get it either. Like, I don't get it. It's a bad strategy.
I don't totally get it, especially because RJ's out. And in some ways that threat is out right now. If you double Brandon, well, is Scotty going to kill you? Maybe. Is Emmanuel going to kill you?
That's a great point. That's a great point. We don't want to give away too many secrets, but now is the time you want to double team him because we have one of our star scorers out of the lineup, right? So there's not really a strong release valve.
I think that may be part of it.
Brandon gets doubled.
Yeah.
So my next bullet point is Masai.
Yeah.
I remember when Masai was in his press conference, he said, "Listen," and I kind of questioned it at the time when he said, "Listen, whether I'm here or not, and you covered it a little bit, whether I'm here or not, we're going to be all right. And I think this is what he was referring to, because he saw ahead, he saw the future, and said, listen, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right. Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay.
When he said that stuff, like, I read into it a few ways. I read into it that he knew that his time was coming, because he's like, look, whether I'm here or not, I'm like, man, yeah, Rodgers is taking over ownership. He knows what's coming. And then the other thing, the statement, it's interesting because you're looking at it as from like getting the Brandon trade done and setting us up to go into this era after Ujiri.
Right.
But I also don't just look at it that way. He's talking about it in a general way. And he's talking about it in a way that pertains to the Blue Jays, in a way that pertains to the Leafs too. Maybe not the Leafs as much just because of their baggage. But he means that this city's a winning city, just in general. Right. And that this city is going to win eventually just because of the nature of Toronto and just what it is. Now, you can put that specifically on the Raptors, sure. And I do believe that this is a winning franchise he helped build that is going to be always kind of an important team in the NBA for certain reasons. The Blue Jays, in some ways, what they did this year is a symbolic thing of what he was saying also. It's just that he's talking about the city in general, but you could take it also as the specifics of just this particular period in time with the Raptors also.
Right. So. And I'm going to say one of the last things I'm going to say is my next point.
Okay.
Is this is going to be the most controversial thing I'm
going to
say.
Let's do it.
And people are going to listen. You got to take it for what it is, and this is no disrespect. But the thing that happened with Kawhi leaving may have been the best thing to happen to our franchise.
Oh yeah.
Masai may have saved us. You know why I say that? And it may be a different reason for what people think.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Masai, when he left, when Kawhi left, right? Think about what would have happened if Kawhi stayed, and this whole controversy with what's going on with the Clippers was on us. Do you think that they would not have the same grace that I think they're giving that owner that they would have with the Raptors franchise?
No.
That whole thing exploded on the Raptors.
Realistically,
that whole thing could have blew up on us.
Yeah. Well, realistically, what I'll say is the Raptors would never made that deal, so we would never had that happen. We're not criminals like Steve Ballmer trying to bend the rules and buy things. No, and that's part of the reason why they diverted towards going to talk to the Clippers and Steve Ballmer is because the Raptors weren't having Uncle Dennis's demands.
Yeah, but did you hear the rumor? The rumor basically was that Kawhi wanted to do the same thing. They wanted Kawhi to do the same thing, but he didn't want to do the actual work with it. He wanted to.
It's weird because right around when Kawhi and Dye was happening, he signed that contract with Cargo Jet, just like Lowry did too. And have you ever seen Kawhi Leonard do a Cargo Jet ad?
Correct, right. You see what I'm saying? He wanted to do that same thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that if we agreed to it, which I know we wouldn't agree to it.
No, we didn't.
And that's why
Masai
said that when he was in the press conference and he was talking to the media and he said about Dennis, he said, like, other people have dealt with us fairly, just like some people. He didn't mention names, but he said some people to the effect did not deal with us in a fair way.
Yeah, well,
when it came to the negotiations.
Either way, with all
that's
that,
what he was referring
now besides all the business stuff and the demands of Uncle Dennis and Kawhi, I would say this: we dodged a bullet with him not being on our team anymore. Because if you
we did.
Think about why, is because his health. And honestly, who's to say, even with Dr. Alex in the last few years, he would have had much different health outcomes than he did with the Clippers in the last few years, and how much money has been tied up into him and him not being available. So it's like, I think it was the best thing for us at the time. It definitely hurt. And in some ways, Raptors Nation is still feeling like we got robbed of the chance to try and properly defend our title and try and repeat. But, the other thing is a team did a really good job of showing we didn't need him the next year and getting the best record in Raptors history for that season. And if that pandemic hadn't happened, who's to say we wouldn't have won our second championship?
Correct.
So we can't
And
say for sure. So I would say, look, even if we had kept him, who's to say he wouldn't have been a burden and not helped us just like he's been for the Clippers since? So,
Great point.
Yeah.
Point. And my final point, I'm going to end with this. Two things we need to stop doing. Please, Raptor fans, stop doing this. The disrespect to Abaji. Come on,
Yeah.
why are guys not allowed to go through bad stretches where they're not playing well? We know the whole issue with Abaji. We don't need to pile on him. He had a bad game, I understand, but remember, Quickly also had bad games too.
Yeah.
And we piled on him, and he got out of his slump. So please, Raptor fans, allow these guys to play through their slumps.
I haven't seen it as much with Abaji, but I'm sure that there's people talking about Grady right now, just like they talked about Jacoby a couple of weeks ago, and just like they talked about IQ at the beginning of the season, even Scotty in preseason. Think about how people were talking about Scotty in preseason.
Oh,
no, I
agree.
got it bad. I agree with this, and this is why I say science lab people with your microscopes, put them up, because we don't need to put every single individual Raptor under the microscope every single game for every single thing, because in some ways it's not necessary. Not everybody's going to be perfect all the time, and there's going to be ups and downs, and overreacting to the downs is just stupid, honestly. And once again, I'll say it, and doubling down with what Infamous is saying is, if you love and support your team, when it's down, do you kick them? No, you try and support them and encourage them to get it out of the mud and get it right. And that's the best way to be as a fan. If you're somebody who wants to kick people while they're down, especially if they're on a team that you root for, why are you doing that? That's not in your own self-interest. We put money and invest time in these young guys. We want all of them to be successful. We're not picking and choosing one of them that we really love like some people do and then dissing everybody else. No, we need to support all of them, because as they all are successful, if more of them are successful than not successful, then we are more successful as a team. And you shoot yourself in the foot as a Raptors fan if you're overly critical of our players.
Right. And my last complete point is RJ. These couple of games show how valuable RJ is.
We touched on that a little bit earlier, and I agree with this. You can see the void and some of the stuff that he's provided for us this season in his absence.
Yeah, the rim pressure, the release valve for threes.
Our fast break isn't nearly as good without RJ in the lineup, and he's probably our best driver of the fast break in our getting up the court fast tempo. So yeah.
So let's pray for good health. Hopefully he gets back soon. He gets back in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't think he's in that bad of shape, and I think he will be back sooner than later. All right, Infamous. I appreciate you calling in, man. And I always appreciate your astute views, and that even if they are just solely yours and only yours, and do not reflect the nature of this reflect this channel or the organization, the Toronto Raptors, Bobby Webster, Darko Rajakovic, Scotty Barnes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Limited engagement in Newfoundland, and no sales in Ontario on the corridor of this. Sorry, I got to do all the fine print.
Hilarious.
All right, Infamous. Love you, man, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. And I hope to hear from you again soon, my friend.
Oh, you will.
All right. You promise? All right, good. All right.
I promise. Bye.
All right, let's go Raptors. Woo! Yeah, awesome. Got Infamous on the call today. Lots of great points by Infamous there for sure. Really, really good stuff to cover right there. Awesome. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying this. I don't even care about how this team does in the playoffs. I just want them to win as much as possible, get that feeling, and make it normal. Yeah, we can get used to this, can't we, Raptors fans? I know I can too. And let's just keep going. Good days are here. Let's savor them. Let's try and encourage them to be long lasting. I'm all about that. That's right. James is saying this. Both those players I just mentioned didn't even contribute last night. Did you even watch the game, Wayne's trainer? Well, like Infamous is saying, it's like it is what it is. There was a bad game for everybody. Let's go look at the other side. How about that? And we can see, because the Pacers had a really bad outputs from most of their guys. I mean, Siakam only had 11 points last night, guys. That's a testament in some ways right there that, James, this game wasn't the normal, high-scoring games that the Raptors have been doing this year. This was a classic Eastern Conference grinded out defense, fouls, and everything is tough kind of game last night. And in some ways, these teams were not playing their best, either one of them. But the fact that we could hold Siakam to 11 points on 5 of 10 shooting, that is no small feat. We know that the talent that Siakam is. And even Nebhard only had 9 points last night, guys. So between their two top players, they had 20 points scoring between those two guys. So there's something that was going right last night. Seriously, there's something going right last night. I guess their leading scorer was TJ McConnell off the bench with 16 points. And, Benedict was starting to heat up near the end of the game, but he couldn't do only too much. I love our Canadian guys on the other side. Andrew did not have a good game. He shot 2 for 10 and 1 of 5 from 3. And he was hearing those footsteps, and he was a minus 20, the worst on the team. So, yeah, I mean, look, it was an ugly game for both teams. And there were a lot of players that had bad stat lines last night. A lot of players that had bad stat lines last night. That's right. Smooth saying this, 3 years of a rebuild. It's been a long time. I don't even know, like, I know we call it rebuilds, but I hate that term. And in some ways, there's no timeline for a rebuild. And I also kind of feel like it's just your team is going through different stages. And I feel like we're not that much different than the team we were last year. It's just that we have Brandon. And it's just really, that's a huge factor. Because a lot of our identity and who we were last year has stuck. Rick Carlisle went over this. Like he said, last year the Raptors had this defensive identity, and it was really good. And it's great that it's great for them that they've continued to hold that identity over into this year with the added additions of their new players on their team, like Sandro and Brandon. But yeah, that identity, and I don't even like, even though we lost this many games 2 years ago and this many games last year, this is all part of the same thing, what we're doing right now. And without those other 2 years of Darko, we don't get to this year. They asked, that was a question Samson Folk asked Darko after the game. It's like, after all the losing the last 2 years, how does it feel to be winning right now? He's like, oh, it feels great. But in some ways also, Darko doesn't want to get used to it. He doesn't want to rest on his laurels. He doesn't want to be kind of like, getting all, woo, we're so great. No, he wants to stay humble, and he wants to stay hungry, and he wants to do things right. Because honestly, if they were getting all big in their britches and too celebratory about winning so much, they might have already fumbled and lost this losing streak already, So whatever they're doing, they need to keep doing right now. Let's just keep doing it. And that's staying one step. The next step is next, Charlotte, Saturday. That's all they're thinking about. They're not getting ahead of themselves, and they're approaching it with the respect that it deserves. They're not saying, oh, we're going to Charlotte. Let's beat up on the Hornets again. They're going to be easy. No, they're saying this is an NBA team. They're tough, and we need to take respect when we face them. And when they come in and they play teams like the Wizards, the Nets, and the Hornets, they give them that respect. They don't fuck up and lose to a team they shouldn't lose to. And that's really important. I mean, in some ways, the winning in some ways could be easy if you're really good and you got to play like Brandon. But the letdown and your mental mind is saying, oh, this is an easy team. We can slack today and play down to their level. That's dangerous. So the basic thing that they have to do is kind of be self-centered and just say, we work on what we're doing. Who cares who we're playing against? We come out there and we give our effort. We play our style. We play our play sets. We play what we're supposed to do. The coach is telling us to do. And that is what we need to do. And I don't care who's playing against us. It could be the Thunder. It could be the Hornets. We just have to approach the games the same way. And that's what builds the success and the winning ways of right now. Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. I'm so loving it. I do want better tests. And, well, Sunday, New York, Madison Square Garden. We'll be there. We'll be there. That's going to be a good test. And I'm going to have a lot of fun watching that one. And, well, it's a test in Charlotte, too, on Saturday. We can't overlook it. We can't overlook it. That's the whole point right there. Yeah, let's keep going. Nako's saying if Miles stays and Halliburton's healthy, they're top of the East. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. No. I feel like they were so lucky last year. They just kind of caught a rocket and went up through there. But they are not the top Eastern team, even with those guys around. I'm telling you that right now. They are not, especially because we're better than them, even with those two guys there, Nako. Bryce is saying this. You do know Grady has one of the highest net ratings on the team as far as plus minus. That's fantastic. I don't want to diss him. I'm just saying right now he's missing his open shots and he's in a slump. And he's going to come out of it, and we'll be very happy when he does. That's right. Oh, you're saying that to James. Okay. Yeah, pause, James. Pause. Please stop. Please stop. That's right. Stop what? It's all good. He's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. James, in some ways, he's got interesting questions. He's got ideas, and I want him to have the forum for it. And in some ways, even if he's doing a little bit of that stuff that we don't totally want to do, it's fine because James has ingratiated himself over a long period of time, and he has some runway to do this kind of stuff with me. And I know in some ways is a turn off to some of you guys, but it's fine. It's fine. And I think that it's very valid for him to bring these up, but I don't want to diss our guys. That's right. Let's see. Nako's saying Grady's still a good scorer. Jacoby's ahead of him right now. I wouldn't trade him. If we're going to trade someone something, O'Shea a couple picks. Well, once again, we don't decide. Bobby knows best, and Bobby will make that decision. That's right. Bryce is saying this dude doesn't understand when Grady is in the game, our team plays better. When Grady is in, he gets guarded like a shooter, which means he spaces the floor. Yeah, there's a lot of attention for Grady now. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why he hasn't been as effective. But also at the same time, he is in a slump. And yeah, he's been in some of the lineup combinations that have had a good plus. That's for sure. Nako saying this, NBA YouTube loves Shed. Well, Shed is a player that's very attractive around the league, and he's somebody that we need to covet and keep for long term. He is somebody they're going to come after. Every single team in this league would love to have Jamal Shed on their team. Don't get it twisted. And in some ways, man, once he gets past that rookie contract, it really is something that Bobby's going to need to invest in, is to keep Shed in the fold because he's a keeper. He's definitely a keeper. Smooth saying this, Pacers got back their pick, and they want to be in the lottery, in my opinion. Willing to sacrifice this year to be better next. Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing that the Celtics in some ways are doing, although they're half-assing it because they're actually like half winning. Indiana is the one team that needs their draft pick. They're not a free agent destination. Yeah, I can see all this. And I think that it's smart to do this. I mean, you may be very happy that you're losing Pacers fans. Like in some ways you guys are like, well, if it's going to be like this and we're gotten off to this bad start, we might as well just go see this through and try and get a good draft pick. I can understand people having that mindset. I hate it for our own team, and I never have it when we're in that situation. But I can see where Pacers fans are kind of like, good. I'm glad we lost the Raptors last night. Let's see. Smooth saying, hopefully Pascal can be okay with it, though. Siakam's been through the ups and downs. He's been the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And you know what? Just focus on the highs. And you know what? Do your thing, man, Siakam. You have a beautiful, blessed life. And, basketball is one thing, but there's more to life than just basketball. I know that, too. That's right. Roger Raymond's here. Thank you for supporting the channel, Roger Raymond. Good day, Raptor Freaks. Brandon looked a bit gassed last night, but the team kept working. Good win. Yeah, that's another thing is with the absence of RJ Barrett, the carrying of the weight of the whole game gets put more burden on the shoulders of other people. And if you're able to have our starters healthy all the time, nobody's getting burned out too much because they're all kind of evenly carrying things and you don't see them as worn down. And that could be very good for a long 82-game season to have multiple options and nobody's overworking. I think that this is something that Brandon had to do in New Orleans because there was nobody really doing it, a lot of heavy lifting, and he kept worn down just from having to carry the team so much on your shoulders. The Raptors are not totally like that. It may seem like Brandon's carrying more right now, but it really is because RJ's out. And, when RJ's in there and they can divvy up the scoring between the two of them, well, we're not wearing Brandon out over the course of the season as much when Barrett is available. So that's another reason why it's very important to have RJ. Yeah, Roger Raymond, salute. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. Through hard work and perseverance and faith in God, you can live your dreams. Put in the work, though hard it may be, and you will be rewarded. Let's go Raptors. I mean, yeah, I got an epitome of that by getting this channel gave me a ticket to go to the game on Brandon Ingram's ticket this week. It's crazy. All my hard work and doing this show for so long, for 4 years now, and getting a little bit of notice, and boom, all of a sudden, Mr. Ingram, Brandon's dad, is texting me and saying, "You're going to the game. Here's your tickets." And you could sit there. That's a reward right there for hard work right there. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we got our third call of the day today, and this time we've got Neil on the call. Blackhawk, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, Toronto man. What's you doing?
I'm all right, man.
Sky.
I'm in a Airbnb near the Rogers Center in the Scotiabank Arena, and just right down in Condo City.
Does this mean you're the High Flyers Club here up there now, there, buddy, up in the sky?
I don't know. See, I'm in a 50-story building, but I'm only at the 19th floor. Thank God she didn't go higher.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's up, Neil? What do you want to talk about today?
Oh man, you know what? Loving what I saw last night, and still angry about what I saw last night. You know, let's for one.
All right. Well, tell me what you didn't like first, and then we'll end it on a good note with what you did.
The start I didn't like.
Okay.
I didn't like the start because, and I said this before, sometimes we play down to our competition.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like we woke up until the late in the second.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not even going to say it's the third. Like everybody's like, it's the third. No. Late in the second, we woke up.
Yeah.
You know? But why are we having such sloppy? Like it felt like they were doing a little bit of playing in the park instead of playing a professional team.
You know,
right? And I don't care about the Pacers right now.
Yeah.
Right? Even though we love Pascal and everything.
You've got to give credit to the Pacers, though. You know, Coach Carlisle's really smart, and if he's seeing what we're doing well, because one of the things I saw yesterday, and this is symbolized by how many assists that the Raptors got last night, they were not allowing us to connect with each other in different ways. I think the Pacers were playing a very in the middle kind of scrappy defense with their personnel. And the way they set up their defense was really making it hard for the Raptors to swing the ball around on the court. How much did we see them do these passes all over the place? And there were some picked off passes by people like Nebhard and stuff like that. I really give a lot of credit to the bad start for the Raptors with Rick Carlisle's coaching strategy to stymie us.
I can't give it to them, and I'll tell you why. It's the energy. The energy wasn't there in the beginning, and not until Jacoby started to pick it up.
Yeah,
then everything turned around.
I'll agree with that.
The other guys needed to bring that energy. Is what I'm looking at, right? And that's why I'm saying we're playing down to our competition. And yet, when you see they take on bigger games, then that's when they put in that stronger focus. Why? I want them to be more consistent. Is what I'm getting at. Like, don't worry about if that team is a higher team, if they're the Thunder or whatever.
I get what you're saying.
All like the Thunder, right?
But I really think you're overlooking that the huge factor in this equation is half of this is on the other team.
The other
and
team
it's not necessarily
granted,
we could maybe clean up things and have less turnovers at the beginning game or establish things a little bit more smoothly. But sometimes you come into the game and you're just not right at first and you adjust and then things come around. Once again, I'm going to say this. All these teams that have been bad we've been playing lately are hungry to get good things going. And right from the start of the game, every single one of these games, it was Nets, Hornets, this game last night, these teams want to start on the step on the right foot. They're desperate because they only have like 2 wins for the season. And they know the only way they can win is they have to be absolutely perfect at the beginning of the game as much as possible and try and carry it as far as they can until they eventually lose or they miraculously win because they did it. We can think about our years in the last 2 years where we just wanted to piece together a good 3 quarters and hang with teams because we couldn't totally compete with them. So think about it from that perspective. They let the gates open for the game and the jump ball. The Pacers are coming really correct because they have to, because they don't have no success. And if they don't do this, they definitely ain't going to have any success. Now, are our guys coming to the game lackadaisical and sleepwalking into the game? Maybe. You might be right slightly.
Yeah, because as I said, they pick it up, right? It's like, you need to have that energy in the beginning. You know, as opposed to picking it up, it's like.
But we got to give credit the other side for their game plans and how they're playing us. In certain ways, that's part of the equation.
Well, again, I'm just looking at our guys. Like you're responsible for how you go up and how you maintain the ball and stuff like that. I'm just looking at they were very careless in the beginning when they should have been tighter.
Yeah, but
you know
what
I
is
mean?
that is Andrew Nebhardt's defense being a pest? How much of it is that? How much of it
It's
is
not
the
that.
all-around great at defensive talent of Siakam just being
yeah,
out there?
Not even close to that. Not even close to that. I'm just looking at these guys, and it's like they're again some.
Don't look at the record. Don't look at the record, Neil. Because if you're looking at the record and you're saying, well, we should have whooped this team's ass just because they only have 2 wins. Don't look at the record.
No. I'm looking at how guys are going up and whether they're going up strong or they're going up soft. You know what I mean? Running into a wall. That's not something you should, like some of these decisions, they're just an issue of discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not totally vibing with what you're trying to lay down here. And like I said, I feel like we got to give more credit to other teams preparing for the games. Coach Fernandez, Coach Carlisle, these are good coaches, and they are really good at organizing their team for specific things to try and take away good things that other teams are doing that they're facing. And I think you may have some of an argument as far as like maybe they come out a little lackadaisical. But often we see Scott come out immediately like going crazy and burning his energy real fast. So like in some ways he's always the first sub out, and that's by design. Like Darko said, go out, Scotty, and play all out as hard as you can because I'm going to pull you out first and start the rotation off of you coming out first. It's different every game. And you got to understand also, right away from the bat in this game, Courtney Kirkland and Kugat called fouls on Colin Murray Boyles and other people. And it was a little bit of gatekeeping by the refs that has part of the reason why they started the way they
that's not really what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the guys for themselves. Like, are they making the right decision? And again, this is mostly the role players. Like you mentioned, Scott. Scott was wonderful. You know what I mean? Scott was wonderful, but I didn't see Scott not going up strong. Scott got his fouls today because he was playing through. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's not on the other team. That's on yourself to play through contact. That's on yourself to you know what I mean?
I think maybe what it is like I don't want you to paint the whole picture as the whole team is not putting energy right out at the beginning of the game because I don't think that's true. I think that in some ways there may be some cases where they're getting beat here and there, but to say this like these guys are not coming out here in the right, I don't agree with you at all on your take, man. I feel like I've given you.
It's always happening in the first.
But in some ways, look, you may be going by the history of the Raptors in the past, where this is a huge issue. It's not a huge issue at this point because in some ways we have proven that we can win even if we don't start well right now. Like we've won like crazy. I understand you want to be nitpicky and say, oh, they could start better and stuff like that. But historically, the Raptors have had trouble starting games and playing in the third quarter at different eras of their time. But because of our power and our talent right now, this is something we can overcome. I agree. They could always improve in these kind of areas, but I think you're being too nitpicky. And in some ways, you're not really giving me specific examples. You're just kind of saying in general, these guys are coming out and they're not playing well enough at the beginning. I don't see that myself.
Well, I gave several examples. I told you, like, there's guys that when they're going up,
Ooh, tell me the name. Give me a specific example in the game.
I'm not targeting it. All I'm saying is, like, bang, when they're going up, they need to you go up with 2 hands. Don't go up lightly with it, right? That's when they're going into the paint. They're expecting the referee to bail them out, looking for the foul.
That's not necessarily what's happening. In some ways, they got to feel out the refs. They got to feel out the refs on whether they're like how the whistle's going to be. Is it going to be tight or is it going to be loose? And at the beginning of the game, it was tight. It was tight. And they had to adjust to that because it was tight right away.
That doesn't make sense what you're saying, Lex.
No. Every time the players come out to the court, when they start a game, they have to see if the referees are going to play a tight whistle or not.
Lex, when I say they're looking for the fouls, they literally are looking.
Once again, I don't want just general statements. I want you to give me a specific case in the game where you saw that.
You got Sandro doing it. You had Ochai
doing what?
Going up. Sandro was going up and trying to score the basket in the post, and he was expecting that foul. It was light. He needed to go up strong.
I don't remember this, and I've not
Well,
seen what you're
if
seeing.
you go back and you look at it, then
well,
you'll
either
see
way,
people were saying
can
it's
we
it's
agree to
struggling.
disagree, and can we move on to the next topic?
All right,
Maybe.
all right. Well, let's move on. Let's
Yeah,
move on.
I mean, I would say this: these guys can always improve in a lot of different areas. I don't know if this is exactly a biggest problem as you think it is. That's my final statement on it.
I think it's something that I think it's disciplinary, so it's always an issue that
I think their discipline's really good right now because they're winning games and they've won 9 in a row, and they've had a lot of games where they could have fumbled and they didn't.
Yeah, matter of perspective.
The perspective is a 9-game winning streak. I think that's all that matters, right? I mean, we could be critics all day about every little fucking thing, but does it even matter if we're winning?
To some extent, we're gonna.
I mean, look, I'll leave this up. Like I say, leave the GMing up to Bobby Webster. Leave the coaching up to Darko. If he's seeing these issues that you're talking about, I'm sure he's working on them from behind the scenes.
I hope so, because it's a change in mentality.
Okay, all right. Do you have another topic, Neil, you want to talk about? I don't want to get too. Like,
As far as the you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as okay, so Obaji, like where people are worried, you don't really have to be worried when it comes on to Obaji. He has to get better because yes, that like you're foreseeing that he may not be here by the end of the year.
I think it's very likely.
Yeah, but whether he is or not, it'll always work out in that sense, and I'll show you why. If they don't get a trade for Obaji, then it comes down to his negotiation at the end of the year because he's a restricted free agent at the end of the season.
Sure.
Raptors always like to make the players go out there and see what the market is and then counter. So it will not be something where you're going to say the Raptors are overbidding for Obaji if they want to keep him. If they don't want to keep him, that's fine. Raptors gets back that money. And that money, they can say, well, if they want to keep Sandro, they can redirect that money to him.
Yeah, I'm not even getting that much in the details in the mud at this point because in some ways that you're kind of extrapolating a couple too many steps in. And basically what we would say this, I agree with you that if he's a restricted free agent, if Bobby does want to match the offer, if he really wanted to tie him down, he would have done the extension at the beginning of the year, but he hasn't. And that's a sign there that it could very well be that he wants to trade him around the trade deadline. If we get through the season, like you're saying, there's nothing we lose. I think you're right. I think that in some ways he tests the market and he sees what his price is. And if we feel like it's a price that we could work with and still retain him, I get all that. But that's general run the mill GM free agency kind of like whatever. I'm only saying Abaji is because of where he's at the stage of his career and the fact that the decisions with him are coming up. It's just like we had decisions coming up with Fred and Pascal a couple of years ago, the decision coming up with Abaji this year. And that's the only reason why I use his name in any of this. It's not coming up with Grady. It's not coming up with Jacoby. It's not coming up with Scotty. It's not coming up with any of most of the other guys, but Abaji it is. And that's,
but it doesn't hurt the Raptors no matter which direction it goes in. It doesn't hurt the Raptors.
We'll see. I mean, I agree with you. In some ways, I'm not trying to figure out ways that we're getting hurt or anything like that. Yeah. I think that the whole overblown hype about we need to move Siakam before the end of the year, I get that. And that situation was totally different than Abaji because we had grown Siakam to a certain level that we wanted to get a return from him as far as like we've invested in him. And this is where he's at. Now, Abaji, there is some investment in time, but it was not on the scale of Siakam. And that's the difference.
Yeah, but most people are out there like worrying about it. But as I said, Raptors has options. It doesn't matter which way they go. They're coming out smelling like.
And trust in Bobby. I'll just say that. Trust him aside. Well, trust in Bobby because Bobby knows what he's doing and he's going to make the right decisions. And we'll see it. We'll see it down the road. All right, Neil. You want to tie it up soon? One more point, and we'll get out of here.
No. We'll close it on that.
All right. Listen. Once again, we'll say it. The views that are expressed by Blackhawk and myself are personally our own. And even if we disagree, we still love each other. And this is how the world should be. It's like, we don't all have to agree on everything. And we can still get along and be fine with each other. And that's an important skill. in today's world of divisiveness.
and that's coming from the mile high man.
All right. I don't know if it's a mile up. That's hilarious, man. Neil, always blessings to you and your family and everybody, man.
All right, man. Season's greetings.
All right, I'll see you. I'll see you, Blackhawk. All the best, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Take care.
All right, man. All right, cool. Yeah, a little contentious in the call, but I think he has some good points. And you know what? His heart's in the right place because he cares about the Raptors being better, and that's the most important thing about that. That's all I say about that right there. Yeah, blessings to the Phillips family, blessings to Blackhawks family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Wayne saying when Nick Nurse gets his flowers from the Raptors, Dwayne Casey should as well get his. Yeah, I think that Casey will get his flowers, and he has in certain ways around us. But I think that once again, people will look at the championship and say, oh, Nick Nurse is more important. But that championship don't happen with the building up that Casey did as his coach, as his coaching time. So, yeah, I'll agree with that, Wayne. You know what? I'm going to give you a dunk always for Dwayne Casey getting his flowers for his contributions to the Raptors, because I don't want people to forget about what he did as far as what his part was in the 2010s. So 162 for Wayne on the dunk charts for that one and bringing up Case. All right, let's see. Randolph saying this. Lex, I learned from He Shall Not Be Named that the best center candidate, Day'Ron Sharpe, can't be moved until December. Front office be waiting for him to make an offer. I think that most people can't be moved before December, and that's part of it. I think anybody who thinks that Bobby's going to do a trigger move, no deals get done this time of year. I've said this before, that nothing really starts happening until around Christmas. So, yeah, this totally makes sense. I don't need He Shall Not Be Named for me to know this, because this is just in general. It's just not a time of the year where there's a lot of trades. And I think that anybody who's antsy for Bobby to make a move to shore up our bigs, well, just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. That's it right there. Jail's saying this. At least Casey went to make something of another franchise. Well, Casey's history is interesting. He's been involved in a few franchises. He's involved in the Sonics and was involved in success for the Sonics in the late 90s with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. He is involved in success with Rick Carlisle on the Dallas Mavericks, and he was a champion with the Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki before he even came to the Raptors. As an assistant coach for the Mavericks, he was their defensive coach, and he's the big reason why we hired him to come to Toronto. And then the very long career on Toronto when he coached us with DeMar and Kyle and built us up to a championship team. And then Nick just finished the project in the last year of it. Well, and then Casey went to Detroit and he helped coach and then front office help the Pistons to get to where they are now. Yeah, so there's a lot of success in Dwayne Casey's life, for sure, for sure. Most saying this, I can't rave about Darko's rotation enough. I agree. I think he's been doing a fantastic job. And if something's not working exactly right, he's switching it up, and he's not afraid to do it pretty quickly. And the other thing that he's doing really well is his timeouts. As soon as we're seeing the other team get a couple of good baskets or some momentum going, he's calling that timeout and cutting it off way before it gets way out of hand. The Pacers go up, and all of a sudden they're up by 8 or 10 or 5 even. He's calling that timeout before those good feelings get too overwhelming and they feel too good and they just start running away on us. So I love the way he's calling timeouts. I want to say that also because they're preemptive and they're effective. Very, very effective. Jimmy's saying B.I. looking like Kobe. That's right. That's who he's trying to look like. He said it the other day. That's right. Neil's saying it's in everyone's interest. Hang on a sec. And this may be kind of piggybacking on what he just said on the phone with me. It's in everyone's interest. Hang on. It's in some ways, this is a lot of comments in here, and I love it. You guys are filling it up today. And, I promise I'll get through everything here. Where is it? You hope so. Yeah, Adriana's saying you hope so. She's being very patient and kind. And I appreciate that she's like that, a very understanding person. But she knows that this channel is important. Okay, where are we here? You guys really filled it up. I'm gonna definitely need that cutoff. All right, here we go. It's Neil saying it's in everyone's interest for Oshai to do better. Exactly. The alternative only works in front office's favor if they are trying to cut money. Well, we'll just have to see. It may be that the price for Oshai next summer that we're just talking about is not something that we want to match, and that we're not interested in doing that. Part of it is also, once again, that's the position we have a lot of people involved in, and letting Oshai walk for more money in free agency next summer may be great for him and helps us with, making decisions for who we're carrying forward. So, I mean, he's a great guy, always a Raptor, forever a Raptor. And that's great right there. Raptors Champs is here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks and Champs. Let's keep Jacoby's confidence going. Yeah, I'm all about that. And Kaz has got a 2-finger salute from Rock Kugat. Yeah. If you can get in trouble for shooting birds in the arena at this point. But yeah, I was sending him a lot of disdainful energy from the stands. Yeah, I was watching him. He's very cocky. And at one point before the game, him and Courtney were warming up, and they were just having laughs. They were just like, just two jerks, just two bald jerks laughing and hanging out in the middle of the court, those jerks. And I was like, man, those guys are having too much chummy fun before the game. Maybe they already know they're going to try and hit us. Well, BI had something to say about that, and he didn't let it happen. That's right. Cool Cat saying, keep Grady Dick at all costs. He's the movement shooter. He's still developing. I feel like, there's a lot there, but also I still worry that my first assessment of Grady may end up ultimately becoming true. But we'll just have to see. I want to be wrong about Grady. Let's just put it that way. But I didn't think he'd translate to the NBA with his skills from Kansas when I saw him and I initially scouted him. I didn't think he'd be able to play defensive effectively in the NBA level. And, well, he's growing the muscles, and that's a good sign. But there's still a lot of work there. And he is doing way better on defense. I have to give him credit. But he's still, like, to be I don't know. He's an NBA player already, so I'm already proven wrong. But how long is he going to last? That's the other thing we got to see. Let's see. We're at Wayne. Sorry, I should have mentioned Oshai. Shaq Lindsay referred to Oshai. Comment was about Oshai's awesome potential, not living up to the project, not the team per se. Okay. Thanks for clarification. Shaq saying Dick's muscles made his shot too hard. Okay, don't do that. Ease up on the stroke. That's too low hanging. In some ways, we don't condone the easy Grady Dick jokes here. Cool guy saying, I've always liked BI since the Lakers days. Glad that his joy for basketball is back. Yeah, I remember young BI on the Lakers back then, and he was such a skinny guy. He was so skinny when he played for the Lakers. And I'm glad he filled out more physically and stronger his body. But yeah, he was such an interesting kid back then. And you could really see the flashes of who he is now, even in his early years in LA. Yeah. He was an interesting. I remember him from back then. And it was like, this kid has a lot of potential is what I was thinking at that time. But he's really skinny is what I was thinking back then. That's what I was thinking back then. Seymour saying, Lex, how the heck is Charlotte number 6 on league pass views? That's interesting. Well, some people say that's LaMelo Ball and probably children. That's why. Kids like to watch LaMelo, and maybe they're jacking up that to do that. That's my best guess on that. Cool Cat saying, also glad for Siakam, Fred, OG, and their success because it also reflects on the Raptors. Yes, they were winners with us and continue winning ways on other teams. It's great marketing for players in the league for the Raptors. The latest one that's really making us look good is old Stormin' Norman Powell down in Miami Heat. He is king of Miami and South Beach right now. I don't even know if Tyler Hero can come back from injury. Bam Adebayo? Who? What? No, it's all about Norm. And Norm is a badass. And he's like the latest one that really makes our championship team look so freaking good. Because, look, I can understand, OG becoming who he became. And Siakam and Fred were out of the blue. But, they're more bona fide over time. But Norman's hitting a little bit later on this, and he is absolutely one of these guys that makes us look good too. Yeah, Norman's going to get an all-star this year. I love it. Yeah, Pelicans have fans. They do. It's tough. I feel bad for some of the fans down there. In some ways, it's a tough team to root for. Seymour's saying that team should be relocated to Seattle or Vancouver. I don't see Vancouver, but maybe Seattle. Maybe Seattle. Most giving me my cutoff now. Thank you. W Stream, W Vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. Just helping Lex with the comments. And I appreciate you, Mo. And so great to see you in person last night. Once again, I love my friend Monique Lawrence. And it's always great to be reunited with her. That's always great. Black Mama's here. Raptors Freak, peace. Canada flags. Oh, Canada. They had Jacoby mic'd up last night, and they had him doing the anthem with Jamal Shed. Yeah, those guys and their funny faces when they're singing. Like Jonathan Momo is always like going like this. He's like, it's weird, man. Oh, those J Rooks, they're now J Softs. We did see a 3-man J combo with Jamal, Jacoby, and Jameson out there for a little while last night on the court for a little bit there. That was pretty cool. Black Mamba, respect, man. Good to see you back in the chat with me. Shaq saying, I want Jock Lindell from the Grizzlies. It was you who turned me on to him. His game is similar to Sandro, just a bigger presence in the paint. Fellow Australian to Jakob. No, he's not the same country. Jakob is Austrian. He's like Arnold. He's Austrian from Europe. And Australia, well, you know the difference. Yeah, Jock is not a countryman to Jakob, so that won't work. He's a countryman to Aaron Baines. Ooh. I mean, Jock Landell's fine, too. He's on my list if we wanted to get the extra big from Memphis. Yeah, maybe that guy. They're on the verge of blowing it up. Yeah, John Morant's on the move for sure. And, well, I mean, the Grizzlies are going to have to put the pieces together. We'll just have to see how it goes. Black Mama's saying the Ingram, like Kobe, is hard to double team. Like Kobe is hard to double team. He fades away from double teams. Sometimes if his legs are fresh, Brandon is fading over that. So this is a good point by Black Mamba is, wait, all right, we'll go double Brandon and we'll guard him up. Wait, but it doesn't even matter if we guard him up. He's just fading away, like leaning back and going away from it and still shooting over a double team. And we just wasted 2 guys on 1 guy. So maybe we should just stay home. Does it even matter if we double him? He's going to do the same damn thing if it's 1 or 2 guys. Maybe that's the reasoning and why coaches have decided to stop doubling him. I said this to Mr. Ingram last night. I was like, why are these teams so stupid to not double your son? He's like, I don't know, man. They're crazy because I know he's going to score on them. It's so cool to do a post-game chat with Mr. Ingram and talk about the game with him, like right after it. He's saying, like, we were talking about why are they not doubling Brandon in the last couple games? And he's like, well, he's going to go get 37 if they're not going to double him. It's hilarious. Yeah. We need to surround Ingram with at least 2 shooters. BI needs shooters. Yeah. Battle, Dick, Walter, Abaji, all these guys. Make your shots. And yeah, I agree with this. And cutters, shooters and cutters are good targets for double team Brandon Ingram. That's for sure. Yeah. Seymour saying this. I hope Jacoby can hit the Brandon Roy, Michael Jordan level. See, I don't put Brandon Roy on a Michael Jordan level because sadly he got hurt and his career kind of got stopped. I know that he's a good player, but I don't give him a whole lot of respect. In the history of the NBA, he was the one that everybody said we should have drafted at number 1 instead of Bargnani. So in some ways, I kind of slight Brandon Roy, and I don't really give him respect like what you just said in that comment. I'm sorry. You can't put him in the name with Michael Jordan and say it's the same thing, Seymour. I'm sorry. But I know what you're trying to say about Jacoby. And, the comparisons I've seen that I like to make with Jacoby is there's a lot of DeMar DeRozan in Jacoby in some ways. There's a lot. Maybe better defense with Walter, though. Yeah, let's see. Facts. I like it. Let's see. We're cooked. Callers is cooking. You're not going to bully Rodgers. That's right. I like that. Blackhawk saying, wow, Lex, you finally came to Kawhi resolution on his health. Well, of course. I mean, listen. The only thing I wanted from Kawhi in the summer of Kawhi and Dine was 1 more year. I did not want to sign him to more than 1 year. I feel like if you win an NBA championship, you should run it back and try and repeat. And when your finals MVP is checking out all of a sudden, that's not right. I didn't necessarily want to commit a long contract with him. If we could have done just 1 year to try it again, and then after that, we'll just see. Because, I don't know. I've never really – it's tough, man, because I think that the way Leonard did San Antonio just tells a lot about things. And in some ways, you can't trust somebody like that. That's what I say right there. Black Mamba's saying it's up to the players, too. Stay off social media. Fans are going to chirp. But, yeah, I agree with Freak. Don't go hard on the guys. They're human. They say they don't check things, but they do to an extent. Chris Boucher let that be known on Hustle Play podcast one time with Mike Roach. that, yeah, they kind of do check some stuff. But, like RJ said at the beginning of the season this year, it's like if I go look at stuff, I'm going there to laugh at it or kind of like not take it seriously or like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. So they also kind of do that too. But it's each individual. Some of those guys probably block all of it out and just don't even have anything to do with it. Some of them may test it and at their own risk. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think most of them are on social media or doing stuff like that. I don't think so. Now, they get messages in their DMs on Instagram accounts saying, like, you didn't get my parlay and this bullshit and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's part of the noise that they're definitely filtering out. Definitely filtering out. Yeah, let's see. Beretta. That's right. I like that. Beretta, RJ Beretta. There you go. Neil's saying this. You can have criticism, but it is objective. I agree with that. If you're just coming around to diss people and you're not giving any solutions or you're not trying to fix things or you're not trying with a good heart to talk to these people, you just want to denigrate them, that's not useful. And in some ways, you just keep it to yourself is what I'm saying. Let's see. Seymour saying calling RJ Beretta is crazy work. Beretta is like a gun, right? Wasn't it an old show too, like a cop show? Beretta on Saturday nights on ABC after a Magnum PI. I think there's something like that too. Yeah. Disclosure. What would I do? I don't know. Let's see. Mischief saying this: Raptors are one home win away from 2025 in-season tournament champions. Well, they're not one home win. They got to win 3 games to win the tournament. We've got to win the knockout round of 8. And then we'll go to a semifinal against the other Eastern team that won the knockout round, which could be the Pistons at that point. And then we've got to play the championship round against the Western side. So there's 3 more games in the in-season tournament to win it. So, yeah, we're not done yet. We have 3 win or go away games to absolutely win the IST. So, yeah, there's 3 games in December we're going to get. We're going to get 2 games no matter what that are mystery games, even if we weren't competing. But if you win and get to the championship round, you get an 83rd game to your season that doesn't count to the regular season stats. And yeah, we'll have a 3rd game if we're in the championship. So yeah, that's actually, there's 3 games mischief until we get there. That's right. We got to win this first one or we don't even go to Vegas. Then we go to Vegas and it's a Final 4. That's how it goes right there. Yeah, keep learning how to win 1 game at a time. Let's go. That's right. Mischief, always good to see the base, man. Let's see. James is saying good breakdown by Infamous, top caller. Yeah. Infamous, great calls, guys, from all 3 of y'all. Honestly, all 3 of y'all. Black Mama's saying multiple lockdown defenders. Well, that's one thing about the Raptors. We got defense. That's for sure. Seymour saying this: keep the streak going, Raptors over everything. I love it. Mamba's saying it wasn't a rebuild. We needed Orlando owners closer. Brandon is a serious closer. If the game's close, he can make something happen. Exactly. And this was a factor I speculated this summer. And part of the reason why, I told my cousin at the family reunion this summer, we're going to be really good because of Brandon. And Rick goes, Lex, you always say this every summer, that the Raptors are going to be really good. And I'm sick of it. And I'm like, dude, listen, Brandon Ingram's like that. And he's going to hit clutch shots for us to win games. I told him this in like July. And he's like, okay, whatever, Lex. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, Rick, are you seeing it? Did you see it last night? Because I think you did, cousin Rick. I mean, that's just part of it right there. I think that Mama's right. In some ways, we were building the machine, and we just needed to add a couple last pieces. And Brandon's a huge piece and a huge weapon and a huge luxury. And Darko's relishing having that as his use on the team. Really, really relishing that. Yeah, it makes it a lot nicer and easier. Let's see. Neil's saying Pacers had a spread out production, and they are getting better. We had a bad first half where we recovered late in the second. Yeah, I agree with that. As far as like it wasn't the best start. You're right. But in some ways, once again, I want to give credit to the referees and the other team sometimes for why the Raptors don't start exactly right. You may be right to a degree that they're lethargic and they're looking at the record of the other team and they're not giving the right effort to. That may be a little bit of part of it, but you have to have the whole formula for why it's happening. Carl's here. My brother, Carl, who's in Atlanta. What's up, freaks? Happy Thanksgiving. Good morning to you, Carl. I hope that you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving today. And yeah, enjoy it. Dad's going to be by himself out at the cottage, hanging out. He went to Swiss Chalet last night, got himself, I guess, an early Thanksgiving dinner. But I love you, Dad. I know you're listening right now. And I love you too, Carl. And all the love to the family that's getting together today in Atlanta to celebrate American Thanksgiving. My mom's down there with my brother and my niece and nephew, and my sister-in-law's family's there too. So yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving today with all the best food. That's right. And make sure you show gratitude and get my niece and nephew to tell what they're thankful for in life. That's an important part of what this holiday is. That's right. Before the dinner, before y'all eat, I want them to say what they're grateful for, so they're grounded in gratitude as young people. It's a great lesson for them. I love you, Carl. Let's see. Mamba's saying, same to you, KJO. Yeah, that's my little brother, Mamba. And he holds it down in the Hotlanta in Georgia. That's right. He's in Hawks territory right down there. Yeah, we need to stand up to Detroit. That's our benchmark. That's right. Man, I may be even higher. Let's start comparing ourselves to the Thunder. And let's start thinking bigger on that way. Although Darko said after the game, we're not changing our goals just because we're on a 9-game winning streak. We're not trying to raise the ante or the bar. I think that they have the same goals either way. And that's just to get progressively better as the year goes on and just see where the destination gets to. And that's the right kind of way to look at it. They're not going to set in stone. We have to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. We have to win our first playoff series. No, they're not doing that. Take it day by day. And, the goals and everything will happen in the short term, and they'll get laid out more and more right in front of you. And that's the way to deal with it right there. I love it. Let's go. That's right. Wayne's saying this, difficult for Lex to remember successive comments. James, are you really asking me if I watched the game? Are you suggesting trading Grady? You're questioning his input after hitting his head? Miss me. Yeah, either way, guys, I don't want things to be too contentious. We are winning, and that's what matters. And we are a family, and that's what matters. You have to give to get what's so hard to understand, Wayne Strainer. I think that you guys may be just off on semantics and just slightly talking about slightly different things here. I think that's what's happening here. Mamba's saying, on most nights, we have 3 positions putting pressure on the hoop. Grady needs to knock down those shots, and he will. Yeah, those shots may not be going totally down right now, but they will come around and start going down again. And that's fantastic. We can still win with Grady not shooting the best right now. Well, he'll start shooting again good. Soon. Oh, he will. I know. Kaloy's saying, I just want to shout RJ is essential. I like that. I'm going to give you a dunk just for saying that. That's real simple. Keep it simple, Kaloy. I'm going to give you a dunk for saying RJ is essential. I agree with you. That's right. He's an essential worker, just like in the pandemic. He's got to be out there working for us. That's right. 97 for Kaloy. Let's see. Neil saying, if Pistons lose 2 games, we pass them. Yeah. We would love to be number 1 on top, although everybody's gunning for you when you're up there, right? They're gunning for you. That's right. RJ Barrett. Grady's in a shooting slump. Doesn't mean you trade him. He does other things on the floor. I critiqued him missing layups when he could have passed the ball. We weren't asking for a trade as a fix. Yeah. I mean, with streak shooters, this is going to be just the way it is. And Cool Cat was right earlier as far as this is a keeper, someone we need to keep around. I agree with what you guys are saying. Shaq Lindsay saying, I don't understand Infamous. On one hand, you say stop criticizing Oshai. But then on the other hand, you say that watching the game, you see the importance of RJ. I agree with you about RJ, but our bench, I don't know. Our bench is supposed to be deep enough that if a player goes down like RJ, that we can sustain it because of our bench. Yeah, and that's what we're proving right now. But, thankfully also we're still kind of playing an easier part of the schedule. How will we sustain it against the more superstar-laden teams of the West? Because we want all of our different powerful players like RJ added to the mix when we're going to go up against the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Rockets, teams like that. So let's keep going. I'm trying to run through this quick because we are almost 10 minutes to 3 hours, and I do want to get done around 3 hours. James is saying, understand his shooting opens up a lot of opportunities, but what's the point if he's inconsistent? We are near the bottom of the league in bench scoring. I agree that Grady is holding us down a little bit because he's missing shots that he should have made, but we got to give him the time to develop and get it back on track. And that's important. But I agree. In some ways, I've always said if a guy comes out and he misses his first 4 shots, bench him for the rest of the game. He don't got him for the rest of the night. Unless he's a very essential starter that needs to be in there for defensive purposes and other stuff. And they're the kind of player, even if they miss shots all game, they'll hit a clutch shot at the end like Emmanuel Quickley. That's that kind of – there's differences with different people. There's differences with different people. Seymour saying I block idiot takes in this chat. I can't see your nonsense. All right, I don't even know who he's talking about right now. So we'll just keep going ahead. Let's see. We need clean half court sets. Yeah, I think that the Pacers just really prepared for us really well, and they just kind of stopped a lot of stuff we were trying to do smoothly. I really feel like that's a lot of what happened last night, guys. That Rick Carlisle did a good job coaching to a degree, and that's why we didn't look as good offensively as we have in other games coming up. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying Jacoby played his part, but the expectation for O'Shea and Dick is to do the same. Yeah. And they're hitting on different times. Like sometimes maybe Jacoby's the one, sometimes Grady's the one, and then maybe all of them are going, maybe two of them are going. We just got to allow for variance is part of it. Yeah. Let's see. Hope all is well. Seymour, the cheerleader. Let's see. Wayne saying this. Sorry, don't do kindergarten analysis. O'Shea is a different conversation. We have better options on the roster for the money. Okay. Yeah, guys, if we're going to – I don't want to, be contentious. If we can just kind of move through the rest of the stream, and if there's any kind of, back and forth and you guys are not totally agreeing, it's not necessary right now. But I understand. I want to give everybody's viewpoint. Mamba's saying Raptors play fast. That's a hardcore way to play. Raps need to perfect half-court offense. We know we can run out the building. Yeah, I mean – we should be able to play both styles. And you know what? We didn't have as good of a half-court offense last year, and Brandon's definitely brought that up. So I think we're fine in some ways because we are doing half-court offense to win these games at the end of games, right? So let's see. Facts over feelings. It depends. Caller is correct, okay? True, Raptor Streak. It's true. We're getting planned for. Yeah, that's what happens. Like if we do overtake Detroit and we're top dog, well, everybody's gunning for the top, right? It's like Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And when you're the man, they're gunning for you. That's why they were after old Slick Rick and his nature boy. Woo! That's right. That's it right there. That's right. G saying, no need to argue, guys. We're winning. Exactly. G's going to get a dunk for that one. That is the right sentiment in this whole thing right there. So G's going to get to 87. On his dunk chart for that one. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's see. Chloe saying Blackhawk is the tough coach. Last night was an off night, and the bottom feeders are getting better. Washington clobbered the Hawks recently. That's good to hear. Mamba's saying we need two playing styles. Raptors need two playing styles. We got to conserve SB and BI. Well, that's why RJ needs to be healthy so he can carry the load, and they can all kind of stay less worn out as the 82 games go on. Yeah. Mischief saying, congratulations to you, Lex, to be able to talk to Brandon Ingram's dad and get tickets to the Raptors game. I wonder how old is Ingram's dad? He is older than me because I asked Misi. He was like, he must be right around my age. She's like, no, he's older. But yeah, he's just a really nice guy. And once again, I just kind of shouted, hey, Mr. Ingram, waved to him. And he came up into the bleachers in the area away from courtside and came and met Adriana and talked to us both for a little while, which is very special. In some ways, it's just cool, man, that, Brandon's dad knows about the Raptor streak. I asked Alessandro last night if he's told Sandro about my channel. So I don't know. Maybe we'll start getting some of the Raptors somehow, some way, finding out about the channel and being around. There is some stuff that's worth it for them to hear. Maybe the ref report. You coming in to sit down with me?
Yes.
Do you want to do like a call, like if you were a caller on the show and you wanted to say something? No, you don't want to do.
I just want to say, yay, Raptors. They won yesterday. It was a great game to watch.
Yeah, you were cheering with me last night more than usual. Adriana was doing the defense chants with me and the cheering very loudly last night. And I appreciate you adding to my noise. I really do. Yeah, let's keep going. Seymour saying we're going to jump Detroit just now. I've been saying we're taking the East. I would just like top four and have home court advantage. In some ways, yeah, having the number one seed is an advantage with the next round for sure. But I would be taking home court any which way as far as top four by the end of the year. I just care about that. Mama's saying the cat's out of the bag in this new NBA. The Raptors can outrun most teams and win. The caller is old school and correct, but the Raps are battling the refs when we play, but playing strong is key still. Yeah. And I don't think most teams want to do the style we're doing right now because it's a copycat lead, but they don't have the guts and the will to do it exactly. You can try and copy what we're doing, but if your players are not totally bought in and they don't want to do it, they won't. And you won't get the effectiveness that we're getting from doing it. because these guys aren't totally wholeheartedly into it on other teams. It's really hard to establish that level of excellence and getting after it and expenditure of energy. And when you get your guys to buy in and do that, that's really special. It's not common. And that's why not everybody's going to be able to be successful trying to copy the style of the Raptors. That's it right there. Mamba's got it. He knows. Kaloy's saying, wow, Lex is connected. Brandon's dad now? Lex, you deserve it. Big up to our community. Yeah, he gave me tickets to go to the game on Sunday. And that's a picture of him in the picture with me from the Sunday stream, Kaloy. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Oshai is just coming from an injury. Give him time. I agree with that. Always give him leeway and let him have some time. G's saying this. We shouldn't have been down on, but Pacers are a feisty team, and coach is really good. Like Lex said, he's stifled their assists, which lower their vibration and energy. That's what they feed off of. Yeah, and to fact that we were able to garner different things to get things up and get to the win at the end of it, that's a testament to finding a way to win when things are not exactly going smooth and the other team is taking away some of your bread and butter. So, yeah, the assist total tells a lot about this right here. It tells a lot about this. Yeah, it's good for them to learn from. If a team cuts off their passing, how do they adjust quicker so they don't go down like that, right? Find the way to win. Once again, G and I have a very similar brain that's working in the same way right there. That's right. Kaloy's saying we are going to see Pacers win a lot more based on their play last night. They won't be bottom feeders for long. They're getting healthy. Yeah, when they get Neesmith back, that'll be a big one right there. That'll be it. Kareem's saying this. I'm not going to tell a fan how to fan, but when the fuck are we going to sit back and enjoy the show? We're witnessing greatness, and people are worried about finances. Stop being so uptight. I'll give you a dunk for that, Kareem. I agree with that. I feel like we should just be fans, enjoy the games, see the outcomes, and let's stop trying to have control over it and just let the people who have the jobs that do the jobs, Darko, Bobby, Scotty, Brandon, RJ, Emmanuel, let them do the jobs. And we will watch because our job is to cheer them on and love them and support them and wish the best for them. And we got to get our job title correct. Know your role, jabronis, as Dwayne Johnson would say. That's right. Abaji's nice, and he's a good athlete for sure, and he's a true two-way. We just got to get that offensive side going again. That's right. Info is saying that's a great point with Abaji. It's a win-win no matter what happens. Never thought about that. Yeah, either way, we got to have flexibility. Bobby Webster's philosophy as a GM has always been flexibility and options and allowing yourself to go in different directions very quickly depending on how things change. That's how we open things up so that we could get Brandon Ingram. That's how we open things up so that we get Kawhi. We got to have flexibility and the ability to move in directions quickly and jump on things when they happen, like a disgruntled Kawhi Leonard in there. And this was the thing that Masai and Bobby talked about for years after Kawhi. We're going to get another superstar because we're going to be an opportunist in a situation with another team in another place, and that was New Orleans and Brandon. And that was exactly the similar kind of thing. Things were just not going to work out there, and he needed to be moved. And Rich Paul and Clutch came a calling. And, well, Toronto's an attractive place to get traded to, and they worked it all out. And that, in some ways, the Ingram trade is kind of similar to the Leonard trade because you got two very high-level players that can score a lot in places that they shouldn't have been in, whether Kawhi didn't want to be there or Brandon just – he didn't need more time in New Orleans. And his dad told me that himself. He told him that himself. That's right. Let's see. Dunk to Kareem. Let's fucking enjoy this year. We deserve it. We were here with all the losing. That's right. Everybody was here on my channel last year and talking about all this over and over again. We've got to enjoy this. We went through hell in different years, whether it's Tampa, whether it's this or that. It's just enjoy the good times, guys. Come on now. If you can't enjoy it now, when are you going to enjoy it? When we're not doing well? No, you won't. So enjoy it now is what I'm saying. Peace to Black Hawk. I love that. Yeah, grinding gears. Yeah. In some ways, it's good for a little friction, a little bit of discourse. I mean, what are the Kornheiser and Wilborn? They can't agree on everything. They got to argue with each other. It makes good part in the interruption, right? It's part of it right there. That's right. That's right. In some ways, that's what it is. I'm Tony Kornheiser, and Neil is Michael Wilbon. All right, let's keep going. Infamous is saying, as far as the start, you both are right. You can develop bad habits while winning if you don't respect your competition. Yeah, I don't think it's that they're not respecting their competition. I think that in some ways we can't totally pinpoint it on one specific thing. It's a lot of contributing factors, I think is what's going on here. Mamba saying Raptors could use a rebounded big if we had Al Horford playing a parade, baby. Well, Al Horford's a little past his prime. He is on the Warriors, and he said himself, I would only be on the Celtics or the Warriors right now. I don't think Al Horford would have any interest coming to Toronto. And in some ways, I don't want him either. Like at this point, he's really like he's a great player in his whole career and stuff like that, but it's really the end of his career. In fact, I thought he was going to retire after that championship that they won. But no, Lassie's still hanging around. And, well, he's part of the Olden State Warriors now at this point. So he's Olden State. Olden State. You can stay over there, Olden. I'd like a player that's around 5th year, 6th year added that's a big, and that's why I like Sharp. That's why I like Gafford, something like that. Gafford's a little bit older, though, than 5 or 6. Yeah. Let's see. Kareem's saying this. Y'all really stop the comments because I know Adrienne is being very patient right now, and she does want me to finish. Grady will come along. Abaji will come along. Be patient. Stop making the trade packages. I have to apologize for pulling the hook on Jacoby for Lawson. Now, look, 2 weeks later, he's blooming this fall. Okay. Yeah, you did say that, and that was not the right thing to say at that point, but that's all right. Neil's saying we got to get to the next level, and it happens by eliminating bad habits. That also says you have the right personnel just to get better. Well, they're doing that. They're doing tape on the wins, and they're pointing out the stuff they did wrong, and they are getting better while they win. And they can do that. That's right. Kareem's saying, so wait, if Brandon's Scotty's favorite player is Kobe and Jacoby is named after Jordan and Kobe, we might just be setting up a dynasty in the next couple of years. Okay, that math is mathing to a degree with me, but it's weird math. I'll just say that. I believe Rodgers will throw money on this team to win. The whole Masai thing was just personal. We need Dick, okay, that phrasing. His big, strong, and he needs to carve out a role like J.J. Redick or Korver. Yeah, I'm going to kind of expedite through this stuff, guys. I want to elaborate on all these comments just because I really do need to go. Both callers are great, and everyone has good points, especially in the fourth. Yesterday was the loudest Scotiabank has been since the shot. I don't know if that's true. Let's see. Scissors. Thank you, G. Jacoby is not afraid of big moments. I agree. He's hit a clutch shot, game winner last year to win a game for us already. And I believe that he's going to develop into being more of a clutch player as time goes on. I agree with this, man. Yeah, Jacoby's nothing like B. Roy, casual take. All right, James, you're being abrasive today. Let's be nice. Let's see. Superfan Mo saying, so Lex, John Attilia works in the NBA office now. Raptors old security on court. He was at the game last night. He stopped down from us last season. He confirmed yesterday with me. That's cool. So she was talking about our old security guy, John Attilia. I did see him at the game yesterday too. So he's working straight up for the NBA at this point. Okay, well, good things. Good things from former Toronto police officer John Attilia working for the NBA office. So he must be good. He went up to that. Yeah, great. We're winning. So miss us about trading people. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Wayne. I don't want to talk trades. I don't want to talk finances. I want to talk wins. I want to talk other stuff. All right, there's the good cutoff right there. Isaac, thank you. All right, let me do my rundown real quick, guys. Our stars of the game last night: Brandon Ingram, Jacoby Walter, Scotty Barnes, Jacoby Pirtle, and Emmanuel Quickly. Honorable mention to Sandro Mamu. Real quick, straight goods on Canadian goods. Yum Yum chips are out of Quebec. If you see the Yum Yum chips, they start in the 50s. And it's in its 3rd generation. It's a family-owned company, and all the potatoes come from Canada. So if you see the brand Yum Yum Chips, well, that's a Quebec originating chip where you're supporting Canada and Canadian industry. So Yum Yum, if you see that label, that brand of chips, buy it. It's Canadian. It's awesome. Let's do an expedited Instagram check real quick. Highlights from the game last night. Okay. Emmanuel Quickly with the team photo after the game. Good to see RJ in it this time. Get back in it. And everybody there, even Grady, that's good. The real deal. They got the different shots of the Brandon shot last night from all angles on Raptors YouTube. If you want to go look at that, that's pretty cool. Teresa Resch doing the Cinderella Stories podcast with Ashley and Savannah. So watch out for that. Episode 19's out on Cinderella Stories. You'll hear the president of the Toronto Tempo speaking out on stuff. And they're also going on and on about like wearing jerseys. Savannah has very strong opinions about people that wear jerseys. Very interesting. You'd have to go watch it to find out. I don't want to talk about it here. There's Wubbs with the chain around his neck. You got to love it. The Brandon Ingram game winner with 2.1 seconds on the clock. And Jacoby had a couple of family members there last night. Love to see The Walter family smiling real big. There's his sister. And yeah, Jacoby, just awesome game they came to for this one. He's hugging. He's so happy. There you go. Let's see. Mamu's got the score from last night. There's the team in the back, and there's his entry photo. And there he is dapping Brandon after the game winner. I love that. Shed with the team photo on his Instagram, and the shot by Brandon saying real deal. And there they are in the anthem at the beginning of the game. I was singing the anthem very loud last night. They've been letting the crowd sing the Canadian anthem lately, which is very powerful, honestly. The singer doesn't sing it. They sing the first and last line, and the crowd sings the rest of it in the middle. It's pretty cool. Scotty Barnes has that big shot by Brandon right there. He's like this. That's what Scotty is saying. He's like this. He is him. He is him. Not you, Quentin Grimes. No. Brandon Ingram. He is him. And Scotty was pointing at him at the end of the game. You see him pointing at his chest and saying he is him? Yeah, there's no problems here. There's no problems here right there. The Raptor was out beating the drum on NBA Cup night. And just a great, fun experience in the arena as usual. A cold butter cheese is what Jonathan is describing. Jonathan describing Brandon's shot. Cold butter cheese. AJ Lawson with the team photo on his Instagram. Grady Dick with the team photo on Instagram. Chucky Hepburn has a young child. And it was Raptors Red, 24, 2 months old. Rome loves smiling. His voice is sucking on his hands, music, and baths. Rome dislikes red lights, traffic, and being sleepy. So I don't even know who Rome is, but he's a Chucky Hepburn fan right from the start. And where do you get that little mini Chucky Hepburn jersey? That's interesting. Jamison Battle has got the score from last night on his Instagram. Morris Peterson, a Iron Man of the Raptors history, is out with his son, his little man, Carter. And he's choking him out, it looks like. I wonder if Morris named his son after his teammate, Vince, because his son's name is Carter. That's very interesting. He probably did. He probably did name his kid after Vince Carter. There's Alessandro's Instagram right there. He's got the cool pictures of Jacoby dunking. He's also got footage of a friend. Mamu had a friend and family out there, and the kids out there posing in there. It's blessed. Looks good. There's a soccer picture there, and there's actually Alessandro got to go to the OVO Center with Sandro and put up shots in there, and he's showing some of the NBA lifestyle. There's the Larry O'Brien. He's in the locker room. Yeah, Alessandro, man, you're living that blessed life, man. And seeing the behind the scenes of the OVO Center and being around your good friend Mamu Kelishvili. So I gotta love it, man. Shout out Alessandro, my dude, man. Shout out. There's Murray Boyles coming in the game in his puffy jacket. Let's see what else. There's Garrett Temple in his suit. There's Jared Roden at the Eiffel Tower as he's playing in France at this point. Fred VanVleet has got words of wisdom this morning, real quick. Spend less than you make. Quietly compound. Money serves you, not the other way around. No one is thinking about you as much as you are. Independence is wealth. Health is wealth. Aim to be a good ancestor and love your family. Okay, that's words of wisdom from the great Fred VanVleet, real quick. Of course, check out his new podcast that he's got put out now, Fred VanVleet Show. And there's his son. Wow, look, Fred Jr. is really getting older. I see a picture of his son on his Instagram right now. Freddie is old. Come look at Fred Jr. You'd be surprised. Adriana loves Fred VanVleet. Look at how old Fred Jr. is now. That's like 5-6 years now since our championship, because he's born during the championship. He's like a 5 or 6 year old now. It's like crazy. Very, very cool.
You got to cut it off.
All right. And then there's the Raptors 905 game highlights. All right. I finished up with that. We'll skip Raptors Reddit. There's Karthika's stat of the day. Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram scored or assist on 60 of the 97 points of the Raptors last night. So they helped on 60 out of the 97 points. Check your Raptor Freak Yahoo fantasy teams if you got them. We do not have a birthday today, so we're shorting that up. And let's get this going here. We know what this is. This is the classic card, and here is the classic card. First name, two name answer. Who knows who this is? We're talking about this guy's country today. So if you can get the classic card, write it in. First and last name. We'll get this done. And, yeah, Joe Ingles. You got it, Kaz. That's right. That is Joe Ingles, Nick Nurse's Australian cousin. That's what I've been calling him. So we'll put Kaz in as the Joe Ingles winner. Let's see, Joe Ingles. And it's Kaz, and we'll give him 50 points. 50 points. I think he's pretty recognizable. So just a 50-point card there. And let's see. That's it for the comments. Guys, thanks for watching me today. They have answered the poll was what should we do today?
And what is the answer?
39% say go to the aquarium, and 36% say just be lazy. So those are the top two options. we'll end the poll here. So I guess we're going to the aquarium, according to them. So thanks, Cass, once again. W Stream, W Community, W Adriana is what he said just now. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching my reaction today to the Raptors game. You know, we can have different opinions and have differences. We just got to agree to disagree. And you know what? Listen, also, sometimes there are differences, agreements that aren't okay. And they usually center around racism, patriarchy, misogyny, and looking down on people. So listen, if your views are something in those lines, I'm not going to say that there's a valid argument from your side. If you're a racist, if you're a sexist, if you're putting down or abusive towards women, I'm sorry, you don't have a valid argument from where you're coming from. And you shouldn't get a platform of equal stance because you shouldn't even be an argument, is what I'm saying. So, you know, it's okay to agree to disagree, but not on those subjects. Let's just put it that way. And people that try and say, oh, no, I can just be this way. I want to agree to disagree. Nope. It's not okay to be a racist. And that's just the damn truth. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors. And yeah, tomorrow's a Friday freak out. There's no game tomorrow. So we're going to have a little bit of a weird day tomorrow. I'll have to figure out what the subject is for tomorrow. But I'll be back on Saturday, too, for the preview for Charlotte. All right, guys. Blessed day. Have a great day, guys. Let's go, Raptors. Be a fan and know your role. And let's just be happy because we are kicking so much ass right now. That's right. The glory of God. Everything in your life and everything I do on this channel is for the Creator and the right things in this world. All right. I love you guys. Let's go, Raptors. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Out.